Well, good afternoon and welcome to Turf Moor. Burnley against Arsenal in the Premier League, live on 5 Sports Extra 2. Mike Minay and Steve Bruce with you today as the two teams emerge from the tunnel over in the northeast corner from where we are sat. Burnley with their claret training jackets on, Arsenal with their blue version. The football season in full flow. It feels like we've had all 4 seasons here at Burnley this afternoon. Pouring rain when I arrived, windy conditions, we've had the sunshine, and now we sit in overcast conditions over the hills of Lancashire on the top of the Bob Lord stand, the rows of terrace housing, and a solitary Burnley flag with the club crest flapping on top of the Bob Lord stand opposite us. And Scott Parker says his side are in a confident mood after back-to-back wins in the Premier League, but they need to test that confidence to the very maximum with the league leaders in town this afternoon. Steve Bruce, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes, this is going to be obviously the ultimate test for them. They've just won back-to-back games against Leeds and Wolves, who they're going to be probably up against in the relegation fight. So they can get anything today, anything, it will be a great result for them against, as we know, a very, very good Arsenal team.
Well, Mikel Arteta, who walks along the touchline on the far side, emerging from the tunnel alongside Scott Parker. He says he knows what his side need to do to win the title this year, and is a chance to pull 7 points clear of second place Bournemouth, who don't play until tomorrow when they meet another title contender in Manchester City at the Etihad. You can hear that one on 5 Live's Premier League Sunday tomorrow from 4:30. And as the two teams go through their handshakes on the opposite side of the field from where we're sat, Burnley make just one change, and that's Jakob Brun-Larsen, who drops to the bench from the team that beat Wolves last weekend with a late winner. In his place comes Josh Laurent. We wondered whether that might bring a change of formation. Dubravka is certainly the goalkeeper. Walker, Twanzebe, Esteve and Hartman are guaranteed 4 defenders in the side. Cullen, Florentino, Laurent and Ugachukwu will form a midfield of some sort, you would imagine. And it'll be Anthony and Zian Fleming, who got 2 goals against Wolves last weekend, in leading the line for Scott Parker's side.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they line up. We were talking before, they're going to go a back 5 or they're going to stick with their back 4. The one thing they were last year in getting here defensively, they were magnificent. This is going to test them to the limit today. I'm be very, very interested to see how they're going to line up and how they're going to approach it. But they're going to have to defend well, that's for sure.
One thing you noticed in the warm-up, Steve Bruce, was the way when they were doing their defensive headers, lining up, running from the goal line and backwards and forth with the ball being chucked up in the air, was that Burnley were in a back 4 at that moment.
It looks a clear sign that, it looks as if there's 2 centre-backs and Walker. So it'll be interesting to see how they're going to, in midfield, what sort of shape they're going to go. Are they going to go 4-4-2? I doubt it against this really, really good Arsenal side. So it'll be interesting. One thing, as I did say, they're going to have to defend very, very well today.
We'll give you the Arsenal team in just a moment, but ahead of kick-off here, with this being Burnley's final home game before Remembrance Sunday in 8 days' time, both sides will line up either side of the centre circle to take a moment to reflect those that we have sadly lost due to armed conflict. 2 poppies will be laid in the centre circle by the 2 captains and will remain pitchside throughout the game.
The Army and the Royal Air Force. Following the playing of the last post, we ask supporters to join together in observing a moment of silent reflection dedicated to those who have died serving our country in war and other conflicts. The referee will mark the end of the period of silent reflection by blowing of his whistle. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
The last post sounding around Turf Moor as poppies fell across the LED boards on all four sides of this ground. Burnley against Arsenal in the Premier League, both sides wearing poppies on their shirts this afternoon as well. Burnley in their predominantly claret tops with the white shorts and sky blue socks will be taken on an Arsenal side in their white tops, the maroon shorts and the white socks to boost. It is an Arsenal side that rang the changes for their midweek win over Brighton in the League Cup. 10 changes that night, all 10 are rotated back in. So it's the same side that beat Crystal Palace a week ago, 1-0, that Eberechi Eze goal. David Raya is the goalkeeper. He used to play near these parts. He used to play just across the M65 in Blackburn. Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiori, the back four. Big boost for Arsenal is that William Saliba is fit for this afternoon's game. Eze, Zubamendi and Rice will support Saka and Trossard either side of Victor Gyökeres up front. It is Arsenal who get us underway. The visitors this afternoon right to left in the opening 45 minutes. It is Burnley, the home side, with Kyle Walker having to do a little bit of shielding from the long ball play to Leandro Trossard onto this near side. He does so. It's a goal kick to Burnley. Burnley from left to right, attacking the cricket ground end of this famous old stadium. Burnley have only won 1 in 18 Premier League matches with Arsenal. They've only scored 9 goals in those 18 games. Can Scott Parker and his side get a historic result this afternoon?
Well, they're certainly in the right mood for it, that's for sure. After back-to-back wins, it's their ultimate test, and it's a big test for Arsenal to come to Burnley now and show the credentials of what they've got.
Battle in the midfield. It is one that Zion Fleming will chase down, but Arsenal through Gabriel cushion it back to David Raya. It's one touch in the bright yellow outfit for the Arsenal goalkeeper this afternoon, and he belts it down the field. Now a battle between Saka and Twanzebe, and the flag goes up on that far side. Burnley have themselves a free kick. Just wonder whether Saka was offside. Didn't see anything that perhaps warranted a foul necessarily in that game. Scott Parker, who I learnt this morning shares the same birthday as Sacha Baron Cohen, the famous actor. I was on Beat the Commentator this morning on Patrick Keelty's show on 5 Live, Steve. That was a question I was asked, and I didn't get it right.
Wow, I would never get that one, I have to tell you. Well, Sacha Baron Cohen,
yeah,
wow.
I was given a multiple choice of Hugh Jackman, Zac Efron or Sacha Baron Cohen, and I went for Zac Efron and obviously didn't get it right. I was humiliated this morning. 3-0.
I should think not.
Congratulations to Florence, the Tottenham fan, who beat me 3-0. I got all 3 questions wrong. So we'll move on quickly from that. Burnley have a throw in midway inside the Arsenal half on this near side there right. Kyle Walker, who won 15 of 23 games against Arsenal in his career so far, launches it into the penalty area on the long throw. Leandro Trossard gets a touch on it. Arsenal able to hook it away over towards this left-hand side of theirs, and Victor Gyökeres tried to use his body well. Battled past a couple of players, kind of flying into them. Twanzebe comes across, plays the ball off Gyökeres. It's a Burnley throw on the halfway line.
Well, you can see straight away Gyökeres, he's not shy of doesn't mind a challenge, does he? And you can see his physical impact of what he gives you. The first time I've really seen him live in an Arsenal shirt, but certainly he's ready for the challenge, that's for sure.
We played 2.5 minutes, 0-0 the score. Burnley going again into the Arsenal box. It was a delicate header back by Gabriel that David Raya had to get just enough on that because Burnley players were lurking. Jayden Anthony was certainly in proximity. Arsenal will play again from the back. Couple of early goals to tell you about this afternoon. The first one at the 3 o'clocks in the FA Cup. It is FA Cup first round weekend. Oldham have taken the lead against Northampton Town. Mickey Mellon's son, Michael Mellon, has got the goal in that game. QPR, who could creep into the playoff places of the Championship this afternoon, are 1-0 down at home to Ipswich Town. And in fact, Oldham have just doubled their lead. 2 goals in the opening 4 minutes. It's Michael Mellon again. Oldham 2, Northampton Town 0. Oldham could probably start dreaming of the second round of the FA Cup already. Meanwhile, Arsenal dreaming of a Premier League title. No, they've got a big job on their hands this afternoon. They're just trying to calm the play down a little bit here, Steve. Get a bit of the ball themselves.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I'm just looking at Burnley defensively. We thought they're going to be a back 4. Actually, they're a back 5. So they are playing 3 centre-backs, which I'm not totally surprised about. But yeah, it's the first little bit of controlled possession Arsenal have got.
So why in the warm-ups then were they going back 4?
I think that's that little con one.
Oh, is it?
Well, we're warming up as a back 4, but actually we're going to be a back 5. It happens often now, you know.
Well, I hope the heading practice doesn't need it for the man who had to miss out of that back 4 in training, because he'll be a bit rusty perhaps. Here's Calafiori for Arsenal, his hair tied back in his ponytail. The Italian defender of Arsenal actually has the second most shots of any Arsenal player this season, their left back. Victor Gyökeres in front, but Calafiori's had a few attempts himself, 17 shots himself in the Premier League this season. Arsenal's ball down the left runs out of room, so Burnley goal kick, which Alvin de Bruyne will take, one of only 2 Burnley players to have played every Premier League minute so far this season, along with Kyle Walker, and both continue that run for now. Play nearly 5 minutes, Burnley 0, Arsenal 0.
Yeah, and both teams have been a little bit direct to start with. We've had a little bit of control possession from Arsenal, but I think Burnley have set the stall out, that's for sure. And that record of last year defensively, in the first 5 minutes, you can see straight away the shape and the organisation they've got, and that's going to have to continue right the way throughout the game.
Yeah, 88% of the goals Burnley have conceded this season have come away from Turf Moor. They do have this impressive record here, just 1 defeat in around about a year's worth of football in this stadium in East Lancashire. Scott Parker has managed to make it a little bit of a fortress. Arsenal want to penetrate those castle walls this afternoon, but for now Burnley in possession on the halfway line, rolled across the centre circle. It just slows up in front of Josh Laurent ever so slightly, means he had to quicken his pace and perhaps hurry the ball along quicker than he wanted. It has gone out for a Burnley throw-in on the halfway line with Kyle Walker near side.
Yeah, the conditions are a little bit difficult too. There's a bit of a wind blowing up here now as well, so interesting to see Burnley and how they adapt, and Arsenal how they adapt to the conditions, because it's not easy by the look of it.
And it's 4th v 5th in the Championship this afternoon, and Stoke City, who were in 4th, have taken the lead. Divin Mubama's got the goal there, so they lead by a goal to 0 over Bristol City. In the FA Cup, Rotherham have taken the lead against League 2 Swindon Town. Macclesfield FC, who are playing in the first round for the very first time since their reformation, as Macclesfield FC have taken the lead against AFC Tottenham, so 1-0 there in front. And Mansfield are leading Harrogate Town by a goal to 0. 0-0 in the Premier League here, 0-0 across all the 3 o'clocks in the Premier League this afternoon. Brighton against Leeds, Crystal Palace against Brentford, Fulham against Wolves, and the game you can hear on 5 Live Sport this afternoon is Nottingham Forest, who've won their last 3 against Manchester United, against the Reds at the City Ground, but Nottingham Forest, Manchester United in their best form under Ruben Amorim, 3 wins in a row, looking to make it number 4. Arsenal playing out from the back. Here's William Saliba. Big boost for Arsenal this afternoon, Steve, that Saliba is fit.
Oh, huge, because we didn't expect it, did we? We expected him to be missing today, and them 2 in particular have been magnificent, and rightly so. They've been tremendous since they've come together and give Arsenal that platform that every big club needs.
So Zubimendi out towards the right hand side, where Jurrien Timber gets a couple of touches. His 17th game of the season already. Here's Calafiori. To Leandro Trossard, a couple of yards in for the touchline, but Walker muscles him off the ball, leaves Leandro Trossard on the deck, and now Kyle Walker, midway inside the Arsenal half, gets a shove from behind from Ricardo Calafiori. Little elbow in his back, and it's won Burnley a free kick.
I think he played for it a little bit, didn't he? All that experience. It was a great challenge on Trossard, and he looks physically still great, Nick, to be fair, Kyle Walker, and he's got away, but I think he's bought himself. Look, oh yeah. Absolutely.
Well, it looks
all
like
that experience, all that experience, and this is going to be crucial for Burnley. Can they capitalise? Set pieces is going to be a big part. As we know, Arsenal are terrific in both boxes, but here's a chance.
Maybe Burnley can play them at their own game here. Kyle Walker, 2 hands raised in the air. It's a yard or 2 in from the touchline, midway inside the Arsenal half on this near side, the right, as Cambridge United take the lead against non-league Chester FC. Walker's free kick, right-footed with his bright orange boots, doesn't get past the first man in the box in Declan Rice, who just side-foots it on the volley up towards the centre circle. But that doesn't stop Burnley winning the second ball and giving it to Ugachukwu on the right-hand side. Here's Laurent, plays the 1-2 with the former Chelsea man of Ugachukwu. Back to Laurent again, and here is Kyle Walker. Cullen was involved in the play there too. Maxime Esteve out towards the left-hand touchline, plays it infield to Florentino. And then Cullen just tries to wriggle past a couple of Arsenal players. They've kept the ball, Burnley. OK, not as threatening on the Arsenal penalty area for now, but possession is important here as well.
Very, very crucial part of it. Can Burnley, because defensively they know they're going to have to defend well, but when they've got it, it's a great ball.
Yeah, Josh Laurent from the right-hand side swept it in nice and early from midway inside the Arsenal half. It is again cleared by the Arsenal defence. It's a stretch on the slide from Florentino to try and win the ball back. Arsenal under some serious pressure here on the edge of their 18-yard box. Once they play it to William Saliba inside the penalty area, Burnley just sit off Arsenal. Arsenal have the ball again.
Yeah, it's a typical one of the back five that you get back in behind the ball, and obviously it's going to be crucial when they do get a little bit of possession of the ball, Burnley, they keep hold of it and offer a threat on the counter-attack.
Fulham 1, Ryan Sessegnon goal to 0 against Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League. That's the first of the 3 o'clocks this afternoon. Fulham, who have never won consecutive games against Wolves since 1908, are off to a great start at Craven Cottage. Just side-footed away from the edge of the Burnley penalty area by Josh Laurent. And Guchuku hasn't got far to go, so gives it to Maxime Esteve. He hooks it up. Good control by Jadon Anthony on the edge of the centre circle. Slides the ball past Leandro Trossard, who'd gone for the cricket barrier approach, I think, to the long leg.
That's one way of putting it, I have to tell you.
Down on one knee, stuck a long leg out to try.
He's given a poor pass in the middle of the pitch. You can't give the ball away there.
And he's put his teammates under pressure, but Axel Tuanzebe is able to defend it well against Gyökeres. That's going to be a good battle this afternoon. Tuanzebe against Gyökeres, and on a couple of occasions, Axel Tuanzebe, man you probably know well, Steve, has come out on top.
Yeah, I took him to Aston Villa when he was a lot younger, and it's good to see him getting a run of games. In terms, certainly to stay injury-free.
Rice bends it in, right-footed, diving header out of the penalty area, this time from I think it's Tuanzebe again, who's in right place, right time again from him. He's reading everything well so far. Zubimendi 10 yards inside the Burnley half. Rice on the halfway line goes back to David Raya, who's midway inside his own territory here. Arsenal, who didn't concede at all in October, 6 games, 5 of which David Raya played in, are starting November, hoping to continue in the same fashion. 11 minutes played, 0-0.
Yeah, just when you look at the Arsenal back four, they're all big and strong and powerful, handle the ball fantastically well. I have to say the organisation of them is fantastic to watch, especially in the back four. And these 2 centre-backs are as good as what you see. I haven't seen them live for a long time. They're very, very impressive.
Yeah, me and Steve were talking pre-game about the form and certain players in Premier League clubs. Steve did make me perfectly aware that he's very rarely able to see a Saturday 3 o'clock kick-off. As recently as a couple of weeks ago, the Blackpool manager, and a lifetime spent in Premier League management as well. And you think you have a pretty good record here, Steve?
I think the last time was here with Newcastle. I think we've beaten them in COVID. I came here as a boy. I nearly signed here, and they let me go when I was 15. So I spent 3-4 years as a kid here. So it was good to come past where I used to stay in the digs not so long ago. But they got rid of me as usual, you know.
I bet those digs haven't changed much in this famous historic town of Burnley.
I don't think so. Looking at the terraced houses in the distance there, it's in amongst that lot, I would have thought.
Just over the Bob Lord stand, a little stonework chimney rises up as well from the factories that were part of this industrial heartland. Birmingham City have the lead against Portsmouth in the Championship. Aston Millwall flying well in the Championship. They can go up to second this afternoon as Arsenal play the ball in the penalty area. It's gone over and behind for a corner. I think that went out of play before Dubravka actually got a touch on the ball, but because the goalkeeper smothered the ball, the referee this afternoon in Chris Kavanagh has given Arsenal a corner here, Steve.
That'll be interesting to see that one back, because I thought it was already out of play.
It's hard to see from that angle, isn't it? Tuanzebe just blocked our view of Martin Dubravka. Let's get another look at this here. It's rolling towards the byline. Calafiori doesn't get a touch. It's a tricky one.
Yeah. We don't need VAR to interrupt that one, do we?
Oh, we'd be here all day looking at that. Yeah. Let's see the Burnley fans' reaction in the Jimmy McElroy stand away to our left-hand side if they do. 2-tiered stand with directors' boxes in between. Rice floats the ball in. It's a one looking all the way to the back post, and they have scored from the corner. Headed back across goal, and Victor Gyökeres is there for Arsenal. It's his first goal since the win over Forest in September. It's from close range. He just had to tap it in. Controversial circumstances maybe, but after 13 minutes, it's Burnley 0, Premier League leaders Arsenal 1.
How often do we see this corner kick It's quite ridiculous that nobody seems to be able to defend against it. Ball to the far post. The block, obviously, everybody's got a job to do. Heads it back across, and Gyökeres is never going to have an easier chance to score. Scores within a yard, but the classic one of the far post, and they create the overload back again. And how often have we seen set pieces being a huge part of what Arsenal can offer?
It's Jurrien Timber who was, it was Gabriel who's always involved in a corner. He just side foots it up, and Gyökeres downward header, as Steve said, less than a yard out. And since the start of last season, that is Arsenal's 38th goal from a corner.
Quite remarkable, and we know that what the routine is as well.
Burnley going for the instant reply. Overhit cross on the left hand side by Hartman. It comes to the corner flag where Kyle Walker chooses to knock it out for a throw-in rather than a goal kick to Arsenal. Keeps them penned back in their own half. But you cannot ignore that stat from Arsenal. Another corner, another goal.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible, the delivery. Declan Rice, since he's took corners, is another one, a big huge part of it. He's right on the money with it. For me now, was it a corner though? I'm looking at it again and thinking it's one of them big calls, and they've scored from it.
That will be certainly one to ask Scott Parker post-match. And if you tune into 5 Live Sport ahead of Tottenham-Chelsea, which is our 5:30 commentary on 5 Live Sport this afternoon, we'll hopefully bring you some live reaction. Mikel Arteta certainly won't be complaining. And just to jump back to that stat again, so 37 goals from corners since the start of last season. The next nearest side to Arsenal in Europe's top 5 leagues is Borussia Mönchengladbach with 26. It just shows the size of Arsenal's dominance from set pieces.
Yeah, and every club in the Premier League in particular is equipped with centre-backs and big, physical, powerful players. It's quite incredible. The delivery's good. They're immaculate how they do it. We keep seeing it to the far post. I've reiterated 2-3 times now. It's the same corner routine.
So why can't other teams do it, Steve?
It's obviously they're very, very good with their delivery, and they've got people who want to head the ball. And Saliba and Gabriel get something on it always, it seems. So, is it go back to the old-fashioned way where you man-mark these people rather than stay in zones? Is that the equation? It's a big, big debate to have.
16 minutes played. Arsenal lead by 1-0. That Victor Gyökeres goal from close range on the head is the difference between the two sides. It does feel like football is going back to the future a little bit, doesn't it, with the way that kickoffs are now belted long from the off. We're talking about set pieces and corners dictating goal play. Here come Arsenal in search of a second. Leandro Trossard level with the corner of the penalty area, near side Arsenal's left. Now he swings in a left-footed cross that loops past everybody in the 18-yard box, and Jadon Anthony is trying to break away down that far side in front of his manager Scott Parker. It's gone out for an Arsenal throw.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Burnley now react, obviously, to that. They've been very, very comfortable for the first 15 minutes. Give away their first corner and they've conceded from it, but they've dropped back into a really, really good shape amongst them. They're going to have to stay resolute and see if they can get back into the game somehow.
Plenty of goals to tell you about. Fleetwood 1-0 up on Barnet in the League Cup. Danny Welbeck scored again as Brighton leads 1-0 in the Premier League. Leeds, who had an important win over West Ham 8 days ago, are now behind at Brighton. Macclesfield now 2-1 in front against AFC Tottenham. Danny Elliott's got a second there. Gillingham are in the lead away at Newport. That's in the FA Cup first round. Boreham Wood 2-0 up on Crawley Town, as Arsenal have the ball just outside the centre circle inside their own half. In the Championship, Middlesbrough could close the gap level on points to lead as Coventry after they lost last night. But Watford have taken the lead there. So Watford 1, Middlesbrough 0. Here Arsenal have won themselves a corner. That ball that was on the edge of the centre circle was sent long, and Josh Laurent was taking no chances. A little backwards header, take it away from a couple of Arsenal players. But here we go again, Steve, another Arsenal corner.
Here's the setup, and here it is. The 4 of the big boys are 2 centre-halves, and Timber and Calafiori. So the whole back 4 is at the far post. Obviously Burnley have got 4 or 5 players at the near post. It's quite incredible, but everybody seems to stay with the same routine against them.
Arsenal fans taunting Burnley with the raising of their voices. Declan Rice corner, near side, the left, swung in. Dubravka caught in a crowd of players. There is a header that goes just wide of the right-hand post. I think it was Jurrien Timber in there. Might have been Saliba too. either way. That crowd of Arsenal players shifted, and the header wasn't far away. It's still Burnley 0, Arsenal 1.
They've got first contact again, haven't they? And this is where Martin Dubravka's blocked in. Can he come for it? Obviously, they've trapped him in there, and he can't go anywhere with the bodies. But again, Arsenal have found the connection with it, and I think you have to probably revert to man mark rather than go zonal, which a lot of teams do now. And that's maybe the only way to go up against them, to stop them getting a run on you.
Mikel Arteta in conversation with his assistant Scott Parker, just trudging the technical area of his on the far side. Big winter coats aren't quite out just yet from the two managers. It is quite a mild afternoon in East Lancashire, it has to be said, as the ball is trying to be pinged to this near side touchline for Leslie Ugochukwu. It hasn't worked. Arsenal have intercepted. What a game, by the way, at Moss Rose. 4 goals in 17 minutes in the FA Cup first round. Now Macclesfield 2, AFC Tottenham 2. Sorry to do this to you, Steve, I'll be quick. Blackpool 1, Scunthorpe 0. What else is happening? Wealdstone leads Southend in the FA Cup, as do Gateshead away at AFC Wimbledon, the National League side in front, and it is AFC Wimbledon 0, Gateshead 1. We played 20 minutes in the Premier League. 5 Sports Extra live from Turf Moor, a cloudy, overcast but mild Turf Moor this afternoon, and it's Victor Gyokeresh's goal from a corner that gives Arsenal a 1-0 lead. Here's William Saliba with his bright lime green boots on. As much as football is returning to its former past with set pieces and corners, we haven't gone back to black and white boots yet, have we, Steve?
Well, I can't see anybody wearing black boots, if I'm being brutally honest. But you're right, it's such a big part of the game. Look, 33% of goals are scored from set pieces, so it is a vital part. And if you've got delivery, people who want to head it, whether it's a long throw, a corner, free kick, whatever it is, huge part of the game, always has been.
Now Gyokeresh just outside the penalty area, left-hand side, couple of yards from the byline, lays it back to Trossard, who got the better of Kyle Walker in a little bit of build-up play there whilst... and the ball's just fallen to Calafiori. He's able to control it, takes the shot on, deflects off the boot of Axel Tuanzebe and pushed over the bar by Martin Dubravka. Suddenly from Arsenal, they found space that just wasn't there in the penalty area. Trossard in the Calafiori, such seemed a simple pass. Walker nowhere near Calafiori, and he was able to take the touch and get the shot away, Steve.
It was interesting. His first touch just let him down a little bit. He had to take a second one, which enabled Burnley to get a block on it. And here we go again now with the corner. Same routine, same set piece.
Declan Rice, left-hand side, rests the ball just on the edge of the quadrant, down below us, down to our left-hand side. Now raises the left arm in the air. The corner is again another one that goes right on top of Dubravka. He punches it up in the air. Now it's a battle for the second ball. It comes to the edge of the box for Saka, inside the D, lashes at the shot over the bar, and it'll be a Burnley goal kick. Burnley 0, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, and you look at and really it's all about the delivery of Declan Rice here now. He's took 3 corners and put them right on the money where everybody is expecting, and we know where it's going. There's that many bodies in there, difficult to defend against, obviously. And maybe the goalkeeper, can he do a little bit better, Dubravka, and come and try and take it? Because at the moment they're a big, huge threat, like they have been now for the last 12 months.
So Arsenal leading 1-0, nearly at the midway point. Gyokeresh takes it on the chest, then plays a diagonal ball that Saka is able to get round Maxime Esteban. Saka goes for the low shot, saved by Dubravka. One-on-one situation, little bit of heat on the back of Bukayo Saka, who tried to roll it into the, I think, far left corner, but Dubravka was equal to it.
Wonderful save by Dubravka. Bit of a slip from Esteve, he was a little bit too easy.
Arsenal at it again, edge of the D, just poked back by Rice and Zubamendi. Now Rice again out towards the right hand side where there's space for Jurrien Timber. Close proximity is Quillinshi Hartman. Arsenal build again, just steady in their own pace with William Saliba and now Gabriel.
A huge big part of the game now. Arsenal have got complete control of it. They've just missed a chance. They've got big huge possession of the ball.
Nearly delivering
big
from the right
part
side,
of the game,
which Eze can't get on the end of. Saliba brings it down past the midway point of the opening 45 minutes, and Burnley now under the cosh from Arsenal. Zubamendi, little floating ball out to the right hand side, which Saka controls on the outside of his left boot by the touchline, lays it to the corner of the box. First time crossing, dug right under by Jurrien Timber. Not the best cross he'll ever produce in his career, and it comes out towards this near side left for Calafiori. Here's Zubamendi. Trossard just shouldered off the ball by Kyle Walker. Referee Chris Kavanagh had a look at it, thought nothing worse, and now Ugochukwu up towards the halfway line as Burnley try and get a rare bit of the ball inside the Arsenal half. Trossard gets a little bit of revenge on Kyle Walker on the halfway line. A clash of the knees. Walker goes over, and that's going to be a free kick to Burnley on the halfway line.
I think Trossard thought, I'm going to get my own back here. He's been brushed off it twice. I think he's having a little dig and back himself. Fair play to him. And again, Kyle Walker, I think he's playing to the galleries a little bit, but he's been very impressive, Kyle, I have to say, against Trossard. He's used his body and his strength well. But there's a vital part of the game now for Burnley. You know, they've got themselves into this shape, which we obviously thought they might do, and obviously they've gone back into a real back five. They need a little bit of possession of the ball if they possibly can to take the sting out of it, because Arsenal at the minute are looking very, very dominant.
Walker bundled over by Calafiori, who came in from behind on the England defender, and nothing given this time, just a throw in of Arsenal. Right, what's happening elsewhere? Championship wise, QPR 1, Ipswich 1, that's got QPR level. Stoke, who started the day 4th in the Championship, 2-0 up on Bristol City. In the FA Cup, Barnsley, I think, are unbeaten in the last 15 against York City, are behind. Barnsley 0, York City 1. Sheffield United in trouble at the bottom of the Championship, are behind at home to Derby County, who've started to pull clear in recent weeks. In the FA Cup, Aldershot are ahead against Weston-super-Mare. Wigan have taken the lead through Callum Wright against Hemel Hempstead. Stoke have now got a third against Bristol City. Salford City behind against Lincoln City in the FA Cup. That's League 2 against League 1 this afternoon. And Colchester 1-0 up on MK Dons. You're up to date, 5 Sports Extra 2, live from Turf Moor. 25 minutes exactly played, and it's Burnley 0, Arsenal 1. Burnley here just trying to take the sting out of what has been, for the last 5 minutes or so, pretty sustained Arsenal pressure and Arsenal attack. And now they have the ball on the halfway line. A stem out towards that far side for Hartman. Back to the left of the centre circle. And Burnley just with a little few touches, couple of touches per player, and then able to play the ball down the middle is Oguchukwu, who tries to flick the ball past Zubimendi. Jaden Anthony controls it well. Referee has said play on here with Oguchukwu down but quickly back to his feet. And Burnley again just rests with the ball on the halfway line.
I have to say, looking from at the Arsenal side, you can understand how good defensively their record is. They are immaculate in their organisation. The spaces between them is immaculate, as if it's a training ground. The back four, as soon as the ball goes back, they're up the pitch. They deny Burnley space. And at this moment, with 25 minutes gone, I don't think the Arsenal goalkeeper has had a touch of the ball, really. Not a save to make anyway.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the biggest problem that they have, is trying to penetrate when they do get a little bit of possession.
And all that time I was saying Burnley had the ball and were inside the Arsenal half. They rarely got any deeper than 25 yards in the Arsenal half. And then as Eberechi Eze ventures into Burnley territory, he is tripped 10 yards past the halfway line, and he was ready to go through on goal there.
Yeah, that little glimpse of Eze, we know what he's got, and it's a deliberate one. It's a definite yellow card in today's game anyway. But we've just seen a little bit of Eze magic, that little bit of change of pace. He's effortlessly in the way he moves and the way he receives the ball. What a wonderful talent he is.
And Josh Cullen, as a result, is the first man in the book this afternoon. He's been yellow carded for that trip on Eze, who was breaking free. Now had a 5th goal in that game at Moss Rose between Macclesfield and AFC Tottenham for the first time this afternoon. AFC Tottenham are in front. They lead by 3-2 now. What a great FA Cup first round tie that is. Plenty more to come across 5 Sports Extra 2 over the next few days. As Calafiori tries to flick on that Arsenal free kick from David Raya. Now Ian Fleming will launch the ball from the halfway line. I don't think it is going to go in the back of the net. The referee's already blown his whistle anyway for a foul that he spotted. No Burnley advantage.
So are we going to class that as a shot?
Well, I think
it was a foul anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that the fact that spares the shot count there and how horrendous a shot it was in the end is the referee's whistle had already gone.
Yeah, he's trying to score from the halfway line. Yeah, the referee was already gone, yeah.
So it's still 1-0 to Arsenal. Victor Gyökeres goal. Corner came in from Declan Rice. It was side-footed by Gabriel into the path of Gyökeres, who headed down and scored. And that's his 4th Premier League goal since moving to the Premier League in the summer from Sporting. He never scored for Coventry against Burnley when they met in the Championship during the 22-23 season. but he has found the back of the net at Turf Moor this afternoon. Twanzebe's header on the halfway line. It's into the path of Eza, who needs to get the ball under control as he shifts out towards the near side touchline. Stands on the ball under a lot of pressure here. 3 Burnley players swarm him. And I'm not sure Josh Laurent fouled in there. I thought he might have won the ball, but the referee, under the pressure that Eza was, has given Arsenal the free kick, Steve.
Yeah, I think it was a foul, to be fair. And again, Eze has picked up the second ball and drifted past a couple of people and probably won the free kick. A little bit soft, but we expected to be given these days.
Arsenal leading 1-0, an Arsenal side that are 4 points better off than they were after 9 games last season. So outperforming what they'd achieved so far. And in a sport that is all about confidence and momentum, you'll struggle to find a side in more form of that nature than Mikel Arteta's side. The Arsenal manager with his grey trousers on, hands in pockets with his black winter overcoat up to the waist on the far side, stands watching his side, and Gyökeres will race for the ball and get round Kyle Walker as well. Into the penalty area he goes, left hand side, looks for Eberechi Eza, appeals of handball, not given for now. And Burnley fans, I think, take the mick out of the Arsenal fans who are at the other end of the field to where the action is, for their rather exuberant and hopeful handball claims. Declan Rice, central position midway inside the Burnley half. A little slip from Zian Fleming as Saliba pushes the ball out to Saka on that far right hand side of Arsenal. Now it's back with Declan Rice. The run made by Timber, not picked up by the England midfielder. Here's Eza with his lime green boots on as well, and now Leandro Trossard with his back to goal. Ugachukwu just tries to shield his route forward for now. Trossard into Eza, lovely touch and control and on the turn, but Cullen was too close to him and Burnley won the ball back, and then as Zian Fleming tries to turn, I think Declan Rice, he's won the free kick, and then Burnley tried to take the free kick quickly, rushed it out to the left hand side, and the referee's going to give him a reprieve here and say there was a rolling ball, so the free kick can be retaken. If not,
shrewd by the referee, really.
Yeah.
I think Fleming was just trying to kick it off Zubamendi to get a yellow card, maybe. That's the way it looked like, it didn't it? You know, so very well done, the referees took the sting out of the situation.
Newport level 1-1 against Gillingham in the FA Cup. Barnsley have got themselves level through. Davis Keeler done in the FA Cup first round. Reading in front against Carlisle United, they lead by a goal to 0, and Jean-Philippe Mateta has scored again for Crystal Palace. This time they lead Brentford by a goal to 0. That means Mateta's now scored in 22 of 28 home games under Oliver Glasner, which is a remarkable statistic. He is a man in form as well, as are Arsenal, the team in form. And this is Saka, big palm away from Dubravka, comes to Trossard, shifts it onto his right foot, takes the shot, stops on the goal line and away from Hartman to clear the danger.
Wonderful save from Dubravka, I have to say. He'd be disappointed, Saka, that he didn't score. Yeah,
that's 2 big chances for Bukayo Saka. Header away from Twanzebe in the penalty area. Now Burnley have won a free kick for an earlier push in the build-up on Maxime Esteve, but 2 big moments there for Burnley. First, the save from Saka from Martin Dubravka, as it was a lovely ball played through him on the right hand side. He was onside, took one touch, right footed shot, palmed away by Dubravka over to his left, and then Trossard tried to create the space, got the shot past the goalkeeper, but 2 Burnley players on the line were able to block it.
Yeah, you'd have to say a wonderful save, and then the defenders have done their bit too. They've stopped it from going in, they've got their bodies on the line, got it off a certain goal from Trossard. So they've just in the last 5-10 minutes had 2 opportunities. Saka in particular, who you would think would take them, has made Dubravka make 2 really, really good saves.
Yeah, scored in the win over Brighton in midweek in the League Cup, did Bukayo Saka. 32 minutes played, Burnley 0, Arsenal 1. Middlesbrough could go joint top of the Championship tonight, but they're doing what Coventry did last night and blowing it. Watford 2, Middlesbrough 0, and Grimsby, who were dumped out of the League Cup on Tuesday night by Brentford, are now set to go out of the FA Cup. They're 1-0 down at home at Ebbsfleet United this afternoon. Here's Gyökeres, left corner of the penalty area. A little touch on the slide comes in from Josh Laurent. Jaden Anthony's got to be careful here. Nudges it back to Martin Dubravka, and Burnley have created themselves a little bit of time and space with 12 minutes to go in this first half, trailing as they are by a goal to 0. It's headed down from Gabriel, only into the path of Kyle Walker, who will switch the play with a lovely drifting ball out towards the left-hand side, and Hartman's controlled it well as well. He played the cross in in early low, blocked at source by Jurrien Timber. That will be a Burnley throw level with the Arsenal penalty area.
Wonderful ball from Kyle Walker, isn't it? And yeah, you'd be disappointed that he didn't deliver.
So it is going to be a Burnley throw. Kyle Walker just jogging over to the far side to take it. Nottingham Forest, who've lost 6 of their last 7 in the Premier League, are behind against Manchester United. Casemiro with the goal there, as Manchester United look to make it 4 wins in a row in all competitions under Ruben Amorim. Throw in from Kyle Walker, far side the left, launched into the penalty. It's a big rushing header away from Gabriel, comes back to Walker, goes out for another throw.
There's the difference. It comes into the box and there's only one person going to head it, wasn't it? Absolutely magnificent defending.
You could see him on the charge straight away, couldn't you? So Walker just instructing the players in the penalty area as to what perhaps his intentions are here. Wipes the ball with a towel that he just discards down on the touchline. He'll back away towards the advertising hoardings. 11 minutes to the break. Walker steps up to the touchline, in towards Fleming. It's Gabriel again with the header away.
Wow, what a header. He wants to go and head it.
And Arsenal on the break here, looking to double their lead. It's a flat, angled ball across field that has run from the right-hand side with Gyökeres to Trossard on the left, and Trossard will look to return it, but he doesn't need Gyökeres because Declan Rice is there to head it past Dubravka into the left-hand side of the goal, and Declan Rice has doubled Arsenal's lead 10 minutes before half-time. Second Premier League goal of the season for him. It was such an easy header for him, loads of space, perfectly angled, and it's Burnley 0, Arsenal 2.
Well, it all stemmed again from a wonderful header from Saliba, who's headed it 25 yards. I have to say Gyökeres has hit a wonderful crossfield pass into Trossard, a bit of huge quality from Trossard, and Declan Rice arriving in the box is a wonderful thing. Great goal from Arsenal, from defending their own 18-yard box with a long throw. And this tactically with Declan Rice, with the ability to get forward now, with the addition of Zubimendi being the defensive midfield player, is certainly playing off, because he's got the ability to run forward and get forward, and we've just seen that he's do it fantastically well. Trossard
perfectly teed up, Declan Rice on the charge arriving. It was a powerful header from the Arsenal midfielder. Who says Arsenal don't score from open play? And with 9 minutes to go before half-time, Burnley have work to do here. They may have tried to press Arsenal early on, but the hope has quickly faded. Declan Rice down on his knees in the celebration, and it's the Arsenal fans you can hear singing away to our right hand side. Their team scoring at the other end to where they are housed in the cricket ground end of Turf Moor, and Burnley here have been bowled over, and Arsenal are knocking them for 6 for now. Here is Jaden Anthony trying to turn on the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. Again, marshalled well, this time by Declan Rice, who is not only doing the damage at one end but also the other.
Yeah, he's a wonderful player, isn't he? I mean, you know, it was a huge big transfer fee, but absolutely he's been fantastic since he's walked through the door. And here we are again now, another long throw. Maybe Burnley will leave a few players back after the last one. But that is again the free off Saliba, and they say go on then. They don't let him mark. Here we go.
Walker's throw in towards the near post. I think it's Gabriel once again on the header. Arsenal haven't dealt with this one quite as efficiently, but as it's flicked up into the air, David Raya has time to catch it, and does, then goes immediately, kicking it out of his hands with his right boot up towards Gyökeres. Gyökeres versus Twanzebe. It falls to Saka. Now it's Eze, left-hand side of the penalty area. His shot takes a deflection, and a Burnley throw-in at one end turns into an Arsenal corner at the other.
Well, it's the ability to head it clear, which they've got fantastically well, and then of course they're on the break in the spaces to run into, and once it comes, the great feat from the goalkeeper to hit it to the centre forward. And Gyökeres is one of them, isn't he, where he's not going to be naturally pleasant on the eye like an Eze, but he gives you that physical confrontation and an honesty and a genuine threat he is going forward. And now they've got another set piece which they're up against it, Burnley, at the minute. They're going to dig in till half-time.
This time the corner's on the far side. Bukayo Saka's in no rush to take it. That's why perhaps you heard a few boos in the background here. It's on the far right-hand side. Everybody back for Burnley, and 9 players in a claret shirt are inside that 6-yard box. Arsenal go short this time. Saka rolls it to Eze. Eze then rolls it off to Zubamendi. Clips it with his left boot. It's so well worked from Arsenal, but Trossard couldn't get the touch that he wanted on it. Dubravka's able to make the save. It was an inch away from the boot of Leandro Trossard, and that would have been 3-0.
Yeah, a wonderful set piece. Everybody's expecting it to be put in. They've gone short and then back across. Something off the training ground, what nearly worked.
It's amazing how many different combinations they can find, Arsenal, to make it work. They lead 2-0, 7 minutes to go to the break. There is now a 6th goal in that Macclesfield game. 3-3 the score, and a hat-trick for Danny Elliott this afternoon. Wolves are a goal down and now down to 10 men. Emmanuel Agbadou has been sent off after 36 minutes in their Premier League game at Fulham this afternoon. In the FA Cup, MK Dons are level at Colchester United. Southampton a goal down against high-flying Preston. They've just conceded through Lewis Dobbin there. Preston in the playoffs. Southampton struggling at the bottom of the Championship, sit just outside the relegation zone for now. Sutton United lead Telford United by a goal to 0, and Spennymoor Town are a goal down against League 2 outfit Barrow in the FA Cup first round this afternoon. The FA Cup action for you tomorrow on 5 Live Sports Extra 2. Three games for you: South Shields against Shrewsbury, Eastleigh against Walsall, and Gainsborough versus Accrington Stanley. Kyle Walker, most of the right hand side of the pitch to himself inside Burnley's half. When he gets across the halfway line, he barely has a moment to think before Eberechi Eze is on to him. Arsenal leading by 2-0 here. Goals from well, certainly first of all from Victor Gyökeres, as Burnley now get to the edge of the D, try and lay it off, doesn't work out. Arsenal able to clear it. And Declan Rice with the 2nd goal for Arsenal this afternoon. Here's Saka, far right hand side, in the white shirts of the Gunners this afternoon in the cloudy skies of Turf Moor. Plenty of claret and blue bobble hats on display. The club shirts slowly start to get put away at this time of year with the temperatures dipping down. There's a few Arsenal fans with shirts over jumpers, proud of their club colours at the moment, unsurprisingly. Long ball to the right hand side, misses the boot of Kyle Walker, and it is a throw into Arsenal midway inside their own half on their left hand side. Steve Bruce.
I have to say it's been a privilege to watch Arsenal and how good they are. You can understand their organisation. They've got good players all around the pitch, and they've got a wonderful attitude for it. They're immaculate in what they're doing at the moment. They're very, very comfortable here at the moment. Very, very comfortable. They're a threat going forward. They're a threat going in defensively, as we all know. They're very, very difficult to play against.
It's almost the perfect side that Mikel Arteta has crafted at the minute. 4 minutes to the break. Arsenal 2 goals to the good. Bottom of League One has taken the lead against top of League One in the FA Cup. Peterborough United, who sacked Darren Ferguson last weekend, are a goal up on Cardiff City. Bolton are leading Huddersfield in an all League One affair in the FA Cup first round this afternoon. So that keeps you up to date with what's happening so far on 5 Live Sport this afternoon. Reminder, on 5 Live right now you've got commentary of Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 1. Myself and Steve Bruce watching Burnley 0, Arsenal 2 this afternoon on Sports Extra 2. Each weekend 5 Live gives you a choice of listening from the Premier League. And it's Trossard lifting it up from the centre circle, high towards the Burnley penalty area. Couldn't find Jurrien Timber. Burnley clear it, just hacking it away anywhere for now. Just happy to have a few moments of respite. And Declan Rice is able to bring the ball down on the far right-hand side of Arsenal. Zubamendi on the tip of the centre circle, has a look out towards this near side. 3 Burnley players around him in Fleming, in Florentino and Ugochukwu. Just don't really give him that option to go forward, but he has the availability side to side. And the ball now back in the centre circle again with Gabriel, who's looking for that midfield almost influencer of Zubamendi in the way that he can help Arsenal start to begin forward. Declan Rice does a very similar role, as it's a drop of the shoulder by Timber, slides it behind Victor Gyökeres, who was just caught a little flat-footed away from the penalty spot. Burnley clear it away.
Yeah, they're a threat every time they go forward, and they're comfortable in possession. It's going to be interesting now to see if Burnley get to half-time and whether tactically they'll change, whether they go higher up the pitch to try and get after Arsenal a little bit better, because obviously they're defending in a low block, giving Arsenal possession in the middle of the pitch. It'll be interesting, and that's that difficult situation that Scotty will find himself in. Will he stay deep, or will he try and risk and see if they can go up against them a bit higher up the pitch?
Eze is fouled. There won't be a yellow card, just away from the centre circle. Arsenal go quickly. Zubimendi using Jurrien Timber. He has Saka further out wide to him on the right hand side. Hartman trying to track him and watch the ball, but he's on the back foot as Saka turns brilliantly against Jadon Anthony. Plays a 1-2 with Jurrien Timber, and the offside flag is up on that return pass from Jurrien Timber to Bukayo Saka, and it will be a free kick to Burnley.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Burnley, they're sticking in there, you know. They're trying to show that resilience of what's got them into the Premier League, that's for sure. Obviously, the big games, as I said before we started here, the big games are the ones who they're up against, who are in against it, like Leeds and Wolves in a relegation scrap, if that's what you want to call it. But against Arsenal here now, it's showing that resilience, what you need to stick in there, because this Arsenal side at the moment are very, very dominant.
Burnley, talking about Arsenal being 4 points better off, Burnley are currently 6 points better off after 9 games than they were the last time they were in the Premier League. They're outperforming the Opta expected points model. They should have only 5.4 points according to Opta. They have currently 10. The way this scoreline's going with Arsenal leading by 2-0, Burnley will still only have 10 points. And we're into the final minute of the first half, plus whatever is added on. Crew have scored really late on the edge of half time. Nicky Dimitri with the goal. They lead Doncaster by a 0-0 in an affair where League 2 meets League 1 this afternoon. Here's Eze on the halfway line, back into his own half. Arsenal have this at their own tempo. They can flick it on whenever they want to, like now. Right over the top to Trossard. Walker trying to stay with him. Those two have had a real good battle this afternoon. Walker edges this one, just pushes Trossard away at the right moment, and that's gone behind for a goal kick to Burnley. 2-0 they trail.
He's defended very, very well today, Kyle, hasn't he? He's used his body well against Trossard, and it's not always easy against him, because the thing that Trossard's got in his locker, he can go inside or outside. He's confident to go outside on his left foot, and we've seen for the goal where he delivers, and then of course he can cut inside with his right foot. But Kyle's played him particularly well today.
2 minutes of added time shown by our fourth official this afternoon, Anthony Taylor. And Dubravka sends that well away from his own penalty area, down the middle of the field. Scrappy on the ball from both sides before Ugachukwu can just play it to the halfway line, the midway point, and uses Josh Laurent. That only change for Burnley ahead of this game from the side that won at Wolves last week was Laurent in for Jakob Brun-Larsen. Twanzebe sends that up in the air and up towards the midway point again. He's Rice, turns back into his own half. Little breeze whips around the back of the James Hargreaves stand where we're sat, the two-tiered stand. He's
got such a confidence about him at the minute, Declan Rice. He's the complete midfield player, you know. He handles the ball very, very well. He's a threat going forward, as we've seen with the goal. Defensively, he wins his challenges. Very, very good in the air as well. He looks the real deal again today. He's been mightily impressive.
I was watching a clip of a podcast with Paul Scholes this week, who said that Declan Rice isn't his type of midfielder. He prefers the ones that are able to control a little bit more than perhaps the attacking nature that Declan Rice has.
Well, listen, Scholes's opinions, of course, is always worthwhile listening to. But no midfield player can be all like Paul Scholes, I have to tell you, you know. But I have to tell you, most teams would want Declan in their team, that's for sure. I can understand why.
Spoke really well this week as well, Paul Scholes, about caring for his son Aidan and how he's dropped perhaps some of his TV commitments to focus on Aidan's scheduling. Really nice piece. I'm sure you'll be able to find that on social media. Here, Burnley trailing by 2-0. The 2 minutes of added time are almost up. Gyökeres has taken a little knock there. He's just over on his haunches, and the referee will see that as a cue to blow the whistle for half-time. And Arsenal have done what they do to many teams this season, and really on the counter-attack and on set pieces have blown Burnley away. Firstly, Victor Gyökeres capitalising on an Arsenal corner. What else would it be? Declan Rice swung it in. Gabriel was at the back post and teed it up for Gyökeres to head in from less than a yard. And it was another header that got Arsenal 2-0 up. Declan Rice arriving on the counter-attack from a Leandro Trossard cross on the left-hand side and powered it past Martin Dubravka. Not forgetting the Burnley goalkeeper has made 2 important saves from Bukayo Saka in this first half. The press might have been Burnley's early on, but the further they sat back, the further they got into trouble, and the defending became even deeper. At the break, Burnley 0, Arsenal 2, Steve Bruce.
Yeah, they've been very, very comfortable, Arsenal, and it's going to be a big second half for Burnley. You know, they've got to show that resilience, as we keep talking about, of what's got them to the Premier League. And this is how the difficult moments are. You know, Arsenal are a really, really good side, as good a side as anybody in Europe at the moment. You'd have to say that, the way they are, the way confident, the way they are. So it's going to be a big second half. It'll be interesting to see whether they go up and go a little bit higher. Do they go back four, for instance, and try and put somebody else in the midfield to maybe try and stop the domination? But if you do that, you could open yourself up, and which has always been a really difficult afternoon for them. And as I've said, they're going to be judged against teams in and around them, not against the mighty Arsenal. So a big second half coming up.
Martin Dubravka applauded as he goes off down the tunnel away in the north-east corner. Floodlights taking greater effect. Substitutes out there warming up for both sides. The second half will all be about what Burnley do rather than what Arsenal have to do, you would feel. Me and Steve Bruce will be back for second half commentary from Turf Moor. At the break, Burnley 0, Arsenal 2. Let's join the team at 5 Live Sport.
Right now, that second goal for Arsenal. Trossard sending the ball into the centre of goal with his left foot. Declan Rice jumping up to head it in beyond Dubravka. Could have been more as well. Saka's had a close range shot, punched away. Hartman blocked. Trossard's follow-up effort on the line. Burnley are struggling. 0 shots on or off target. It's Burnley 0, Arsenal 2.
Half-time at Selhurst, Chris Coles.
Crystal Palace 1, Brentford 0. The inevitable Jean-Philippe Mateta goal has Palace in front, and it's where they deserve to be. The more energetic, the more inventive in midfield, and they'd had the better openings before Mateta's header guiding in Lerma's touch from a deep free kick into the corner. Brentford have looked threatening via Coyote's long throw, but their best chance wasted right on half-time. A free kick on the edge of the box, dead centre, disappointingly curled over by Damsgaard. Crystal Palace 1, Brentford 0.
Brighton Leeds has reached half-time. John Southall.
It has. Brighton 1, Leeds 0. Goal aside, it's been a pretty poor half. Daniel Farke will be disappointed with goal after 11 minutes. Far too easy. Mats Wiefer crossed from the right. There was Danny Welbeck unmarked, 6 yards out. Tucked it in, 6th goal of the season after that. Slim pickings. Welbeck and Minter both shot wide. Leeds have seen plenty of the ball, haven't done enough with it. A Longstaff deflected shot late in the half about it. Brighton 1, Leeds 0.
Still playing at Craven Cottage. Fulham Wolves, Will Parry.
Yeah, the whistle's just gone for half-time. Fulham 1, Wolves 0. The Wolves' defence opened up. Jimenez played a first-time pass into the path of Sessegnon, who finished down the middle under the body of Sam Johnston. Wolves then reduced to 10 after Agbadou, the last man, cleaned out King. Straight red shown. VAR said that the King hand ball in the build-up before the foul was high enough up the T-shirt line. The season has been ugly, hasn't it, for Wolves? It could get uglier at the Cottage. Fulham 1, Wolves 0.
As it stands, Wolves 8 points from safety, whilst in Scotland, Hearts going 9 points clear. Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, the Jambos juggernaut continues at full speed, Steve. They're 2-0 up at half-time. Lawrence Shankland, 7th of the season on 32. He got it at the edge of the box, cool as a cucumber, went the far side of the goalkeeper, bottom corner. Then Lavi Kador with his opening goal. He's opened his account for the Jambos this afternoon. It was a bit of a stramash inside the box, a recycle corner. It was really good from Hearts. It got into the 6-yard box and smashed it home from there. Apart from that, chances have been at a premium. Hearts have taken them. They're up 2-0.
The other two half-time scores in the Scottish Premiership, Falkirk lead Kilmarnock by 3-0 as they look for their third win in 4 games. It is Livingston 1, Hibs 1. In the Championship, in the early kick-offs, it finished Leicester City 0, Blackburn 2, Norwich City 0, Hull 2, and West Bromwich Albion 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Those the full times. Half-time at Vicarage Road, Watford Middlesbrough. Charlie.
Watford 2, Middlesbrough 0 as it stands. Borough missing their chance to go level points with Coventry at the top of the Championship. Both Watford goals coming down the right wing. First bar found loser before Ngakia cross for Kieran go. Watford looking good for what would be a 4th straight home win. They lead Middlesbrough 2-0 at the break.
So Millwall have the opportunity to go second in the table, not taking it yet at Oxford. Molly Stevens.
Absolutely not. It's all square at half-time. Millwall got the opener, a throw into the box, found Tiano Barlow at very close range. He headed it in for his first goal for the club. But then since then, Oxford have had brilliant chances well saved by Max Crocombe, but he couldn't save the looping right-footed shot into the top left corner from Cameron Brannigan moments before half-time for the equaliser. Significant news for Millwall is that their top scorer, Femi Aziz, has been forced off injured. He walked off, so it didn't look too serious, but Millwall now down to 4th in the live table. Oxford 1, Millwall 1.
As it stands, Stoke going 3rd in the Championship. Pat Murphy.
Because they're leading Bristol City 3-0, 3 up after 25 minutes, and Bristol at least stopped the rot before half-time. Stoke sharper, more aggressive. Manhoef and Chamadou irresistible down the right flank. 2 goals from Mubama, the second a shocking error by the keeper Vitek, and a delightful third from Manhoef. Stoke 3, Bristol City 0.
Half-time at the Valley, Mike Williams.
Charlton 0, Swansea 0, a match low on chances, low on quality, which is a bit surprising, especially from Charlton, who have been in good form and can climb into the top 6 with a win here today. The only real chance of the game did fall to the home side defender. Macaulay Gillespie, up for a corner, saw his header tipped over the bar by the fingertips of the Swansea keeper Vigouroux. Hopefully we'll get more in the second half. Charlton 0, Swansea 0.
Will Still has got real problems at St Mary's. Half-time, Paul Gilmore.
Yeah, problems mounting. Southampton 0, Preston 1. Loud boos at half-time. Similar story for Saints, a lot of possession but not doing much with it. Preston scoring with their first shot on target after 39 minutes. Lewis Dobbin with his 4th of the season from close range. It has prompted a toxic reaction from the home fans. Southampton 0, Preston 1.
Other half-time scores for you in the Championship. Birmingham lead Portsmouth by 1-0. It's Queen's Park Rangers 1, Ipswich 1 at half-time, Sheffield United 0, Derby 1 is a half-time score, and you're up to date in the Championship. Rugby League Ashes second test, Sharon Shortle.
Australia lead by 12 points to 4 after 2 quick-fire tries, 2 in the space of 5 minutes. We're just getting the conversion for the second of those, and it is successful from Nathan Cleary. So another 2 points added. The first try coming from Cameron Munster, sliding over the line with the momentum of the tackle, and then Hudson Young taking advantage of a ball bouncing in free space after a kick on the last, which England couldn't deal with. Latest score then, England 4, Australia 14. We've played 54 minutes.
You can watch that one on BBC One on 5 Sports Extra. It's England-Australia Rugby Union at Twickenham. Sarah.
Half-time, England 10, Australia 7. An opening score by Ben Earl after a lovely secure from the restart by Tom Roebuck from the wing, the Sale player, doing so well to set up the Saracens' number 8. But all of a sudden, it was the Australians who fought back. As England thought they were going over for another, it was Harry Potter, the Australian wing, who just plucked the ball out of the air, just metres away from England going over again to run the whole length of the pitch. And all of a sudden, it's tight. It's England 10, Australia 7.
Right, FA Cup round 1 in the half-time in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. The biggest shock on the cards at the moment is AFC Wimbledon of League One, trailing by 1-0 to Gateshead of the National League. Kane Adam with the goal. They lead 1-0. Half-time in the game between Boreham Wood and Crawley Town. Nikesh Regani.
Where it's Boreham Wood 2, Crawley Town 0. The non-league side taking a deserved lead into the breaks after starting with great intensity. They took that early lead when Matt Rush was played through into the area to score his 11th of the season. That lead was then doubled from the penalty spot when Zach Brunt was brought down in the area. He took the penalty and scored himself. It could have been 3 or 4 in all honesty. Crawley offered very little in terms of quality going forward, and they'll have to play the second half with 10 men because Ryan Loft was sent off in stoppage time for what appeared like violent conduct. At the break, it's Boreham Wood 2, Crawley Town 0.
Another possible shock on the cards, albeit they're down to 10 men now, is Ebbsfleet leading Grimsby Town. So that's League 2 Grimsby, who've caused a couple of League Cup shocks this season, trailing by 1-0. Charlie Seaman scoring it for the National League South side. What about Burton Albion against semi-pro St Albans City? Adam Whitty.
Half-time, Burton 1, St Albans 0. This game's still in the balance. It didn't feel like it would be after League One. Burton took the lead after 58 seconds through Tyrese Shade, but the 7th tier Saints came back at the Brewers, forcing 3 saves from their goalkeeper in the middle part of the halves. St Albans, 86 places below Burton, are certainly asking questions, but it's Burton who lead 1-0 against St Albans at half-time.
What about National League North Spennymoor Town against League 2 Barrow? Nathan Alban.
Half-time, Spennymoor 0, Barrow 1. The League 2 side snatching the lead just before the break. Elliot Newby with a fine finish over the on-rushing Spennymoor goalkeeper. Before then, though, Spenny looked the better team, just haven't taken their chances. Half-time, 6th tier, Spennymoor 0, Barrow 1.
To the Shea, Halifax Exeter, Andy Sixsmith.
Where National League Halifax Town trail League One Exeter City by 2-0. Last thing you want, Steve, is the underdogs to concede after 2 minutes. That's exactly what Halifax did. Corner from the left, volleyed into the roof of the net by Danny Andrew. And then Jaden Wareham doubled Exeter's lead in added time. Right place, right time to net a rebound. Fine acrobatic celebration to match as well. Halifax have had their chances. They've got 45 minutes to perform one heck of an FA Cup comeback, but the trail at half-time, 2-0.
Here's one heck of a scores read. Right, FA Cup getting you up to date. Chelmsford beat Braintree by 4-1 in the early kick-off. National League South beating National League. Half-times, Barnsley 1, York City 1. Blackpool leads Scunthorpe United by 1-0. All League One clash at Bolton. They are 1-0 up against Huddersfield Town. Crawley are down to 10 and trailing 2-0 at the break at Boreham Wood. It's Bromley 0, Bristol Rovers 0. Buxton Chatham is 0-0 at half-time. Cambridge United 3-0 up against Chester City. Cheltenham leading Bradford City by 1-0. It's 1-1 in the game between Colchester and MK Dons. Crewe lead Doncaster by 1-0. Also Fleetwood 1, Barnet 0. Game of the day so far, Macclesfield 3, AFC Totton 3 at half-time. That's National League North versus National League South. Mansfield are 1-0 up on Harrogate. It's 1-1 in the game between Newport and Gillingham. Oldham are 2-0 up against Northampton at half-time. Reading lead Carlisle by 1-0. Peterborough lead Cardiff by 1-0. Salford 0, Lincoln 1. Rotherham United are 1-0 up in their game with Swindon. Slough lead Altrincham by 2-0 at half-time. Stevenage 0, Chesterfield 0. Sutton United are 1-0 up on AFC Telford. Still 0-0 in the game between Tranmere Rovers and Stockport. Southend United down to 10 men and trailing by 1-0 at Wealdstone. Weston-super-Mare are 1-0 down at home to Aldershot. Wigan lead Hemel Hempstead 1-0, and it is Wickham 0, Plymouth 0. Scottish Championship, Arbroath 1, Ross County 0 is a half-time score. Partick Thistle are 2-0 up on Queen's Park. That would put Partick second in the league, 3 points behind St Johnstone, who lead Adrionians by 1-0. The other score is Wraith 1, Morton 1. Scottish League 1 live scores for you. These are all now reaching half-time. Alloa 2, Kelty Hearts 0. Cove Rangers 1, Peterhead 1. East Fife 0, Hamilton 0, Inverness 0, Montrose 0, and Stenhouse Muir are 1-0 down at Queen of the South. So as it stands, Inverness are going top of the table. Scottish League 2 next for you. The leaders Spartans are 2-0 up against Forfar at half-time. It's Stirling City 0, Edinburgh 1, Spartans 2, East Kilbride 0, Elgin 1, Annan 0, and Clyde 1, Dumbarton 1. And of course, we'll keep you up to date later at 5:30 in the Scottish League Cup. The first of the semi-finals is Motherwell versus St Mirren. You're up to date with all of the live football scores on 5 Live Sports. Second half commentaries to come in the Premier League from the City Ground and Turf. More after Al Tansley.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
A 38-year-old woman has been charged over the theft of jewellery from the Louvre in Paris. The jewels, worth around £77 million, are still missing. The man who died in a helicopter crash in Doncaster has been named by his family as 70-year-old Peter Smith. The pilot and 2 passengers were injured in the crash on Thursday. Politicians in the US are calling for Andrew Mountbatten Windsor to come forward and answer questions about Jeffrey Epstein. He's always denied any wrongdoing over his friendship with the late sex offender. And state media in Moscow say Ukrainian troops surrounded by Russian forces in the key eastern town of Pokrovsk are beginning to surrender. Ukraine's military has called the situation difficult and dynamic.
Conspiracy theories really can impact the way the world works.
Disinformation. You think you're winning.
There could be 1,000 deepfakes. Actually, you could upend democracy.
But it's because of you we work 24/7.
BBC News at midnight. The Prime Minister will host
to verify the facts with digital tools and reporters on the ground.
BBC News, Moscow.
Look, Roger. In the West Bank. So, no matter how quickly disinformation spreads,
let's have trial by combat.
We'll be ready.
The fight for truth is on.
Trust is earned. This is our BBC.
This is 5 Live Sports with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Teams on their way out of tunnels again, up and down the land. Reminder in the Premier League, Brighton lead Leeds United by 1-0. It's Crystal Palace 1, Brentford 0, Fulham 1, Wolves 0. If you want to listen to Burnley 0, Arsenal 2, the second half is coming up now on Sports Extra 2. Here on 5 Live, Nottingham Forest trailing Manchester United by 1-0. Second half commentary with Leon Osman and Ian Dennis.
Sheffield United have just conceded as well. Derby County have got a second goal at Bramall Lane in the Championship. Sheffield United 0, Derby County 2. Neither side has made a change here for the start of the second half. So Nottingham Forest in their red shirts, white shorts will be attacking the Trent end, playing from right to left with Sells in goal.
As 5 Live Sport brings you the second half of Nottingham Forest against Manchester United with Ian Dennis and Leon Osman, as you've heard there. Myself, Mike Miney and Steve Bruce this afternoon will bring you second half commentary of the Premier League leaders Arsenal away at Burnley. The Gunners lead by 2-0. They were dominant in the first half, and it would take something extraordinary, Steve Bruce, for Arsenal not to be 7 points clear at the top of the Premier League tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they've been extremely comfortable and very, very good at what they've done. They've been in complete control of the game. Interesting to see now they're making a substitution by the looks of it. I wonder if that's tactically or if somebody's picked up a knock. I'm trying to see who it's for. They're all in a huddle at the minute, the Arsenal team, but it looks as if they have made a change.
It's Victor Gyökeres they've taken off at the break. Mikel Merino is the man coming on, Steve.
Wow, so I would assume it must be he's picked up a knock, or he's because he's their only recognised real centre forward that they've got, and it'll be interesting to see now what they do. Will he go and play up the top, or will Eze play up the top and he plays the 10? Interesting.
Well, if you remember, right as the half-time whistle went, Gyökeres was over on his haunches, wasn't he, as the whistle blew for half-time. It didn't seem anything at the time. I just wonder if it's maybe from
maybe
that.
It looked as if he got a clash.
Yeah.
It looked as if he got a whack to the jaw, actually.
And with the 2-0 scoreline, maybe Mikel Arteta, as we get back underway, Mikel Arteta is just seeing that a chance to get Merino involved in the action. He's got 1 Premier League goal this season.
The beauty of Merino being on the bench too, he can play in a number of positions. Here it looks as if he's going to go and play centre forward by the looks of it, the way he's lining up here now. So vital part of the squad he is too.
So we'll run you through the two teams when we get chance to do so. No change at the break for Burnley, the home side, 2-0 down inside this first minute of the second half. Their claret shirts, the home side this afternoon, white shorts and sky blue socks. They're now right to left, attacking the Jimmy McElroy stand, the 2-tier stand away to our left-hand side. Arsenal in their white shirts with the maroon shorts and white socks. They're now left to right, attacking their away supporters in the cricket ground stand away to our right-hand side. Single-tier stand, couple of metal poles holding up the roof. There is an element of tradition around Turf Moor, it has to be said. The Bob Lord stand, perhaps the most traditional of them all. Still got its old style seating in, single tiered stand, the corrugated metal roof. Only a small stand of maybe about 20-25 rows, if that. It's where the managers' dugouts are, and both managers on the edge of their technical area for now, as Burnley win the ball just inside their own half, easily pushed over the halfway line by Cullen. This is Ugachukwu, who's going to have a run at the Arsenal defence and into the penalty area on the right-hand side. Declan Rice had him monitored well. Ugachukwu trips up Calafiori, took over the ball, and that's going to be an Arsenal free kick deep inside their own half.
Well, there's the other side of Declan Rice, where they've got broke on Arsenal, and he's right back in there defensively and mopping up everything and clearing up everything. The defensive side of him is a huge part of his game too.
So Burnley, Dubravka in goal, Walker, Twanzebe, Esteve and Hartman. A back four, but also with Josh Laurent in there as well. Cullen Florentino and Ugachukwu behind Jayden Anthony and Zian Fleming. Zian Fleming, who got 2 against Wolves last week, hasn't really had a sniff at goal at all this afternoon. Arsenal, who've now got themselves a throw-in midway inside the Burnley half on the far side. Raya in goal, Timber Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiori, Eze, Zubamendi and Rice, and now it's Saka, Merino and Trossard up front. Goal kick given a Burnley, couple of early goals going on this afternoon. Ipswich Town, who have not won in their last 8 games away from home, and now 2-1 up away at QPR. That's in the Championship this afternoon. Premier League Championship and FA Cup action this afternoon. Charlton have taken the lead against Swansea as well. Charlton going well in the playoffs of the Championship. Burton are 2-0 up now on St Albans City. That's in the FA Cup first round this afternoon. Buxton behind against Chatham Town. Oldham have scored quickly at the start of the first half, have done so at the start of the second half. They're 3-0 up on Northampton Town. And 2 early goals to tell you about in the Premier League. One in our 5 Live Sport commentary at the City Ground, where Morgan Gibbs-White has got Nottingham Forest level. Sean Dyche's side getting an equaliser, 1-1 with Manchester United. And Crystal Palace, through a Nathan Collins' own goal, are 2-0 up at home to Brentford in the Premier League. So you're up to date. 5 Live Sports Extra 2 live on the BBC Sounds app this afternoon. Download the app. You can twiddle in between the commentaries, which also includes England, Australia in the autumn internationals, followed by Scotland, USA on Sports Extra this afternoon. Arsenal in possession, near right hand side. Saka able to turn in field, nudged on by Timber, and then Marino put his foot on the ball, not next to it, and slipped over.
Yeah, one of them awkward moments.
Into the box it goes. Timber on the stretch, can't connect with it, and it bounces on through to Martin de Bruyne.
Yeah, one of them awkward moments for Marino. There was nobody around him. He stood on the ball and fell over it. But it's interesting to have a little look at Burnley. I think they're going to try and get after Arsenal a little bit higher up the pitch. I don't think they're going to go back into that defensive block, what we've seen a lot of in the first half. So be interesting to see if they go then tactically.
A little bit of trouble here for Jadon Anthony, who's gone down on the touchline. I think a couple of Arsenal players just want him to roll off the pitch. He's that close to it. Referee will come over and just check he's okay. Timber and Saka help him to his feet. Did he just get trod on there, I think, by the boot of Saka? I think he did, just on top of his boot. So that'll be a painful one that Jadon Anthony will be able to run off. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Burnley 0, Arsenal 2. A little bit of drizzle starts to come down over Turf Moor. You can see the breeze still flapping the solitary flag on the top in the middle of the Bob Lord stand roof on the far side. A few of the street lights coming on now slowly as well, as the sunshine starts to dip away to our right hand side. Burnley 0, Arsenal 2. William Saliba, floodlights on or not, you're not missing them boots strapped to his feet. Bright green, just passes it out to this near side. Arsenal's right. Zubamendi helps it run over through to Timber, and then Timber slides it low along the ground for Saka, who's having a run at Maxime Esteve here, tight to the byline. Esteve did enough. Saka lost his stride, and that's a goal kick.
And there's the difficulty what Burnley take. They've tried to go high up to try and win the ball back a little bit higher up, and Arsenal have got out, so they've left themselves a little bit exposed. It didn't quite happen for Saka on this occasion.
What a tie in the FA Cup first round at Macclesfield. Macclesfield now lead 4-3, having been 2-0 up, 2-1 up, 3-2 down. Now they lead 4-3. No chance Middlesbrough go level on points with Coventry at the top of the Championship tonight. They're 3-0 down away at Watford. And what a start to the second half for Nottingham Forest. Nicolo Savona has turned it around. They now lead Manchester United by 2-1. Forest on course for a 4th straight win against Manchester United. You can hear that on 5 Live Sport. Burnley 0, Arsenal 2 here in the Premier League. 6.5 minutes played.
Yeah, and very, very comfortable it remains for Arsenal. We can see a little tactical change with Burnley, trying to get up higher against them, especially when the two centre-halves have got the ball. So interesting to see if they can make a dent in Arsenal, because it's difficult for them at the moment. We know how difficult and how good Arsenal have been, and they've started the second half very, very comfortable too.
Game of head tennis going on, which Axel Tuanzebe has the last touch of before it goes over the halfway line. Talking about Burnley getting back in this game. So far, 62% possession Arsenal, 38% Burnley. But have a look at those stats there, Steve. Arsenal 8 shots, Burnley none. And that's the issue.
Yeah, and that's the issue. Of course it is. You know, you've got to be defensively right, but also have the ability to, on the counter-attack, can you cause them a threat? And at this particular moment, Burnley have found that very, very difficult, which is going to be the case for a lot of teams, I have to tell you, after watching this Arsenal team live. They're very, very good at what they do.
Yeah. Hard to find a fault with this Arsenal side at the moment. Saka in from the right-hand side, the near side. 7.5 minutes played. Arsenal with a 2-0 lead as Gateshead go 2-0 up away at AFC Wimbledon as well this afternoon. So the National League side looking for the second round, and plenty more action to come as well across 5 Live, particularly Sports Extra 2 tomorrow, where you've got 3 FA Cup commentaries on the way. includes another Lancashire side in Accrington who are away at Gainsborough Trinity of the Northern Premier League, one of the lowest ranked sides left in the competition. Here's Florentino for Burnley, a 26-year-old Portuguese player on a season-long loan from Benfica. He's won the most tackles of any Burnley player in all competitions this season. Timber stops him being able to advance with the ball. Sutton United 2-0 up on AFC Telford now. That's in the FA Cup. And Stockport County are 1-0 up away at Tranmere Rovers. League 2 taking on League 1 this afternoon in the FA Cup first round. Maxime Esteve back to Martin de Bruyker in a musty green outfit for the Burnley goalkeeper this afternoon. And nearly given away. You heard the gasp from Steve Bruce there, a bit nervy at the back.
A bit nervy at the back. Yeah, a bit nervy at the back. That little chance they've taken, but got away with it. But it's going to be important that they're going to have some sort of possession. But it's a big part of the game now of how they get that balance right. They're trying to get after Arsenal a little bit. It's a bit of a wild challenge from Fleming, is it?
Yeah, Fleming's gone in. I wonder if the referee's gone to his pocket here. He is, for a yellow card for Zian Fleming in on the back of Gabriel. So that's the second Burnley player in the book this afternoon. Zian Fleming, who got 2 of the 3 goals Burnley scored last weekend. He's not so much a hero today as a villain with that foul. His little nose band on as well to help him breathe during games. Players with poppies on their shirts this afternoon as we near close to Remembrance Sunday next weekend. Both players as well wearing black armbands this afternoon to remember 2 former Arsenal players who sadly died yesterday, Willie Young and Colin Addison.
Yeah, Colin Addison was in charge, I believe, of Hereford when they had that wonderful victory in the FA Cup against Newcastle, and I think he went on to manage in various countries. In Spain, I think he managed Bilbao, Athletic Bilbao, and Willie Young is a guy who I replaced at Norwich, a big character in his day. He'll be sadly missed.
Still waiting for this Arsenal free kick. Arsenal players and Burnley players wearing the black armband for those 2 that have sadly passed away. We had the last post sounding as well. Long ball forward, that Arsenal free kick, edge of the penalty. Then it's a driven shot, low down towards the left-hand post, which de Bruyker is behind. It was Trossard who released the effort. It was driven, but the goalkeeper saw it all the way.
And that is what we're saying about Trossard there. He's cut in on his right-hand side. We've seen him, he can go both ways, and that's the value of him. You know, he can, and how difficult it is to play against him, because he can go both ways very, very comfortably, as we've just seen there.
Yeah, scored home and away against Burnley the last time they were in the Premier League. Here is Kyle Walker down the right hand side. Trossard now doing the defending. Those 2 all afternoon have had a real contest. Walker just shrugs him away. Cross comes in early, header away by Calafiori in the box. Still not clear fully for Arsenal. Saka gets his header on the edge of the D, and now the Gunners are able to clear, but in steals Josh Laurent on Declan Rice. Can't get the control of the ball, and it's sent up towards the halfway line by Leandro Trossard. Suspicion of handball against Mikel Merino on the halfway line. It's Timber low along the floor to Saka, just away from the right corner of the penalty area. Ball in so close proximity to his feet. Timber on the overlap. Cross comes in. Header was waiting for Merino, but Burnley were able to clear before it reached the Arsenal centre forward. And now playing around with it at the back. Burnley have got to be careful. They are calm in possession, and Jayden Anthony has it on the near side left. 2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, wonderful defending by Tuanzebe, I think, again this time, you know, where good cross, and he's got himself in a really good position in the middle of the 6-yard box. And again, that Saka is so comfortable on the ball.
Burnley in possession to the right of the centre circle. I'll run you through the latest scores. Plenty of goals flying in across the Championship and FA Cup first round this afternoon. 5 Live Sport live from Turf Moor with the 4-way shadows cast from the stands here, with Winter drawing in. Kyle Walker in possession, orange boots on his feet, shaven headed, and it's back to Axel Tuanzebe in the centre circle. Uses his defensive partner in Maxime Esteve. The Burnley fans try and find their voice to get behind their team that trailed by 2-0 12 minutes into this second half. Good control on the chest by Kyle Walker, who was then allowed to get a touch of the ball. The flag was late on that far side. It's Calafiori who's been down. Walker and the Burnley fans frustrated the flag took so long and the free kick so long to decide.
Well, the linesman was there it looks a bit of a foul when I see back the replay. The linesman's 5 yards up. I think what's infuriated everybody is that he's took his time with it, hasn't he? And maybe rightly so, but I think he's got the decision right.
Yeah, Walker took it on his chest, but his momentum was backtracking him into Calafiori, had his arms raised. I think Calafiori's trying to make the most of it, and the free kick has been given to Arsenal, which gives me time to run through the latest scores in the Championship. Birmingham City lead Portsmouth by 2-0. Grimsby of League 2 have got themselves level now against non-league Ebbsfleet United. Danny Rose with the goal there. Colchester were ahead against MK Dons, but Russian Hepburn Murphy's got MK Dons level at 2-2 now. Ipswich look on course for their first away win in the Championship in 8. They are 3-1 up on QPR at Loftus Road. Stevenage 0, Chesterfield 1 in the FA Cup. Harrogate a level against League 1 Mansfield Town at Field 0. Grimsby are now in front against Ebbsfleet. They've scored 2 quick goals there, so they lead by 2-1. And Huddersfield level in an all-League 1 tie with Bolton Wanderers. 1-1 the score at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. So you're up to date. We're nearly at the hour mark here, and largely the pattern of play hasn't been too much different from the first half, Steve Bruce.
Yeah, the pattern of play hasn't been there's been Arsenal comfortable, but as we see, we're just watching now, Burnley are trying to get after the ball higher up the pitch. They're trying to commit people rather than the low blocker that I had in the second half. So tactically they've changed a little bit, and this is the danger if they leave them leave themselves open at the back.
Yeah.
Arsenal have got people who can exploit that. Of course they have.
Arsenal are going to bring on another substitute in a minute, but Ogachukwu is put through Kyle Walker on the right hand side. The cross is angled backwards, and Gabriel's able to stab it away. Cullen climbs over the top of an Arsenal man to win the ball back, and the referee has said play on for now. VAR could review that if anything comes further. This for Burnley, but then it's all about the next phase of attacking play and whether the Arsenal defence has had chance to realign itself, which it has, and Calafiori wins the header from a long ball over to Kyle Walker on Burnley's right hand side. Anyway, Arsenal go long themselves. That's out of play for a Burnley throw-in. Just looking over towards the far side, seeing if the changes are ready for either side. And Sheffield United are in big trouble in the Championship. Derby County leading 3-0 at Bramall Lane this afternoon. So Derby pulling clear of the relegation zone. Sheffield United, who were a point inside the dreaded drop zone before the start of play today, saw Blackburn win at Leicester at lunchtime. I'm going to be in further trouble there. Chris Wilder's side, having made that managerial change already this season, Sheffield United to replace Ruben Sellers. Kept in, was it, by Jayden Anthony? No, it wasn't. And it's an Arsenal throw level with their own penalty area on this near side, the right.
Yeah, it's the best piece of pressure that Burnley have had in the whole of the match, really, on the hour mark. That they've got after Arsenal a bit higher up the pitch and got a little bit of reward for it. They've just got to be careful they don't leave themselves wide open at the back. It's interesting to see the substitutions they're going to make today now.
So it's going to be a double change for Burnley, which is going to see Jakob Brun Larsen come on. He was the only change from last weekend's win over Wolves. He replaces Leslie Ogachukwu, a £3.5 million signing from Stuttgart in the summer. Also onto the field of play was the match winner against Wolves in the 95th minute. Chauner comes on and he replaces Jayden Anthony in the attacking line for Burnley.
Yeah, they'll give it a bit of energy at the top end of the pitch to get after the ball. And as I said, they've changed tactically in the second half with the two now a little bit more energy. Let's see if they can do anything. But certainly their best spell of the game is at this particular moment.
Burnley with the energy of Kyle Walker on the right hand side. Still got it, still got plenty of pace in those ageing legs. 35 years old now, Kyle Walker. And here's Maximus Stev. Uses Axel Twanzebe, who is becoming a regular feature since getting over his injury this season now, keeping Hjalmar Ekdal out of the team for certain. Here's Zian Fleming, who's got Saliba all over the back of him. The challenge goes in on him. Referee allows the advantage to roll over for now. Here's Brun Larsen, takes a curling shot. It wasn't really aimed towards goal. Gabriel's diving header, Chauner's return header is well wide of goal, and it's behind for an Arsenal goal kick.
I can understand why the Burnley supporters are a little bit frustrated. It looked a foul, but fair play to the referee. He waved play on because they were in a really, really good position. Obviously nothing's come of it, so the supporters aren't very happy with his decision.
Brun Larsen, who is yet to score this season, took that rather tame shot on initially. The wind whistles around the back of the Jimmy Hargreaves stand, where we are right at the top of this two-tiered stand. Gives us a great vantage point of the pitch and over the town of Burnley as well. 63 minutes played, 5 Sports Extra 2, live from Turf Moor, where it is Burnley 0, Arsenal 2 in the Premier League. Reminder elsewhere, Crystal Palace 2 goals to the good against Brentford, Fulham 1-0 up on Wolves, Brighton ahead against Leeds, and Nottingham Forest have turned it around against Manchester United to lead by 2 goals to 1. Zubimendi playing a really risky back pass towards William Saliba, who had to head it in on the byline there. All a bit too casual from Arsenal under a pressured situation. Eze tries to get the turn. Maxime Esteve says, I didn't touch it. And Eze goes down on the turn, and Arsenal have a free kick. Steve Bruce.
Well, I don't think that would be a foul in my day, I have to tell you. And this is the problem of today when you're at Burnley, who you have to get after Arsenal if you can. Physicality now, the physicality of the game seems to have gone away. Any sort of contact, it seems to be a foul. But certainly Burnley, it's the best part of the game that they're doing at the moment, getting after Arsenal, taking a little bit of a chance, leaving themselves 3 for 3 at the back. So it'd be interesting to see if they get any reward from it. Birmingham 3-0 up on Portsmouth in the Championship. Charlton, who have won just one of their last 9 against Swansea City, have been pegged back at the Valley. Charlton 1, Swansea 1. Ipswich Town are set for all 3 points at Loftus Road this afternoon. QPR 1, Ipswich 4. Calafiori controls it in the left back position, and Wolves through Harry Wilson. Fulham through Harry Wilson are now 2-0 up on Wolves in the Premier League. Reports of that on 5 Live Sport right now. We're fully focused, uninterrupted commentary of Burnley 0, Arsenal 2. 20 minutes gone in the second half. I wonder if that Brun Larsen effort was Burnley's first shot of the game. I think it will count that way. At the other end of the field, Saka's on the right hand side of the penalty, angle too tight to shoot from, and Timber rifles that well wide of the near post from which he was aiming from. Behind it goes for a goal kick. There were a few in that stand ducking very quickly to avoid the power on that shot from Jurrien Timber. I think that was one of mine. I think it nearly cleared this. I think he nearly cleared the stand. But not one of his best attempts. We should put it that way. He's absolutely leathered that. Jurrien Timber has got 2 Premier League goals this season. Scored twice against Leeds in the 5-0 win. Mikel Arteta pacing his technical area. He stands on the corner of it with his feet a shoulder width apart. Looped up over the top. Saka will give chase in a foot race with Esteve once again, who controls that brilliantly, and then had the nearby support to be able to distribute that away with Quinn Shinley-Hartman. And Burnley now can rest on the ball on the edge of their own technical area, penalty area rather, with Josh Laurent. The last of the sun dipping away behind the hills over to our right hand side. Creates a nice effect with the orange sky. And here's Chowner trying to get the control he wants on the ball. Zian Fleming first time hit up towards the penalty area. Brun Larsen didn't even bother chasing that. Saliba had it covered. Timber had it covered. And David Raya, after one bounce, was able to catch. We're almost at the midway point of this second half. Scott Parker's side unable to lay a glove on Arsenal yet. Yeah, it's been their best spell of the game, as we keep saying. They've changed since half time. They've gone after Arsenal a little bit higher up the pitch. The big problem is obviously they're leaving themselves a little bit exposed. But at the moment it's their best spell. Plenty of goals going in. We'll fill you up to date with those in a minute. As Brun Larsen tries to get on the ball that was played down the middle on the edge of the D. Saliba stepped in. So Brighton have gone 2-0 up on Leeds United in the Premier League. Wycombe have taken the lead in the FA Cup first round against Port Vale. 2 non-league sides going toe-to-toe. Slough Town 2, Altrincham 1. Altrincham have halved the deficit there. Bolton back in front against Huddersfield Town, now leading by 2 goals to 1. How about this in the Championship? It was 4th against 5th at the start of the day. Stoke City 5, Bristol City 0. Now David Mubama's at it again. Hemel Hempstead of non-league are level through the penalty of Joe White against League One Wigan Athletic, and Matt Smith has been sent off for Wigan in the process of that too. Reading 2, Carlisle 0. That should be a comfortable afternoon for the League One side now. And in the Championship, Millwall, who started the day in 3rd place, will leapfrog Middlesbrough. As it stands, they are 2-1 up away at Oxford United in the Championship. Millwall
in the automatic promotion places of the Championship. Could be some story developing there. We're past the midway point on the second half here at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Arsenal 2. Dubravka has it inside his own penalty area, away to our right hand side. Burnley in their claret shirts are right to left in this second half. He just rolls the ball under his right boot, having played it once already out to Tuanzebe. He'll do so again, let it go long this time. Tuanzebe on the chest control of Chowner, and via a deflection on an Arsenal head, it's come through to Jakob Brun-Larsen here. He's in the penalty area on the left hand side. Good luck trying to get past William Saliba, who shuts the door, and Timber can help mop it up.
Yeah, I mean, they've certainly been better since they've made the change. The substitutes have given them that little bit of energy, and as we said, the last 10 minutes they've had more of the game. It's not as comfortable for Arsenal. They still haven't really created an opening, but it's been far, far better from Burnley.
Certainly has. Burnley, who have struggled to score against Arsenal, 1 goal in 18 Premier League games against the Gunners.
The way it's looking at the moment, I think any team's going to find it difficult to score against Arsenal. The way they are, they're fantastically well drilled, well organised, big physically, want to head it that comes into your box.
Just 3 goals conceded all season for Arsenal,
and you can understand why. It's the first time I've seen them live for a long, long time.
What impresses you most then?
I think their organisation and then their defensive, the way they get after the ball, make it very, very difficult for teams to even get a shot at goal. I mean, I think we're going into 70 minutes now. I don't think Burnley have had a shot on goal just yet, or the goalkeeper's made a save. And you can understand why they're so good defensively. The gaps between them, the spaces, they're so well drilled, and of course, physically, they've got that physical ability to really be commanding the 2 centre-backs in particular. The left-back is mightily impressive, and this boy Trossard can go inside or outside you, but I have to say the left-back in particular has really impressed me today.
Ricardo Calafiori of Arsenal, bit of work to do on his side of the field, but Burnley are now moving more centrally, clipped up by Florentino, headed down on that far side, just in front of Ricardo Calafiori by Chowner. It's back on the halfway line. Burnley with Maxime Esteve inside the centre circle. Burnley, who are trailing by 2 goals to 0. Hartman just flicks it back, first time from this near side touchline to Jakob Brun-Larsen. He wants to take a quick throw in, is able to, right across the halfway line to Florentino. 20 minutes to go in this game, and here is Axel Tuanzebe just a step into Arsenal's territory to the right of the centre circle. Sheffield United have a goal back against Derby County. Ebbsfleet's hope of an upset seam over. Grimsby Town now lead by 3 goals to 1. Rotherham have been pegged back by Swindon 1-1. Burnley put the ball in the penalty area, easily taken by David Raya. Tranmere level in the FA Cup first round. They're at home to Stockport County this afternoon. Mansfield back in front against Harrogate. It's 2-1 there, and maybe Macclesfield are set for the second round now. Probably the first time we can say that this afternoon. They're 5-3 up on AFC Tottenham. That brings you up to date. 5 Live Sport almost up to date, because Brighton now have a third against Leeds in the Premier League. They're leading 3-0. Double Arsenal change on the way. Eza has been replaced by Ethan Nwaneri, and also off is Ricardo Calafiori, who's just been impressing Steve Bruce.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it might be a tactical change or whatever, but he's been mightily impressive for me. I have to say he hasn't done anything wrong. Maybe physically he's got a knock or something that we don't know about, but certainly he's been mightily impressive.
And in his place comes Piero Hincapié, who got his Premier League debut from the bench against Crystal Palace last week, got his first Arsenal start in midweek against Brighton since signing on loan from Bayer Leverkusen. With a 2-0 scoreline, 18 minutes to go, it does allow Mikel Arteta a little bit of luxury to rest the players that he wants with so much game time. But Burnley with a step and a header over the bar. He put it back across goal, Maxime Esteve, and then it was Florentino from the edge of the 6-yard box, couldn't get behind the ball enough to send that goal bound. But that was better from Burnley on the free kick. David Raya was nowhere, still 2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, it was a hell of a pass for Axel Tuanzebe, and it's arguably, well, it's been Burnley's best chance of the game so far. Wonderful ball from Tuanzebe to the centre-back. Esteve, who's headed it back across the goal, couldn't really just get it goalwards, could he? It was always looked as if he was rising, and the ball was too high for him.
That really would have changed the mood around Turf Moor. and would have given Arsenal a nervy last quarter of an hour or so. As it is, they still lead 2-0. Taken on the chest by Mikel Merino, pushed down the left-hand touchline to Leandro Trossard, who's challenged from behind by Kyle Walker. Mikel Arteta thinks there's a foul in there. He's appealing on the edge of his technical area with two hands raised in the air. So often as we've seen from Mikel Arteta, Anthony Taylor now having a word with him. It's almost a signature stance of Mikel Arteta when he feels something has gone against his side. Now Zubimendi, right in the centre circle, inside the Burnley half. 17 minutes left of this game. And Arsenal getting a little bit of restored control on the ball. Zubimendi at walking pace just keeps rolling it under his right boot.
Yeah, I think they've missed the focal point of Gyökeres, to be fair. You know, I mean, I know Mourinho's not a natural out-and-out number 9, but I think they've missed that focal point of the centre forward. He gives them that out when they need to. I think he's been a little bit of a miss for them in the second half, I have to say.
No upset in the northeast. Spennymoor 0, Barrow 2. League 2 side in control there. Stockport County through Ollie Norwood back in control. They are ahead against Tranmere by 2-1, and Boreham Wood at the National League South are beating Crawley Town by 3-0. Bromley 0, Bristol Rovers 1, as the League 2 side have just got in front there in an all League 2 affair. Brun Larson emerges with the ball on the halfway line. Little square pass to Twanzebe, and now Burnley with Kyle Walker going down the far side right. Has to check his run. Hinchkaby and Trossard marshal him for now. Reverse pass from Chowner, edge of the penalty area. Can't be returned back to Chowner by Josh Laurent. And it breaks down for Burnley on the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. And there's Chowner down here rolling around like he's in some pain, like he's been caught in the face. Arteta not happy. Burnley are going to make another change here. Chowner looks in a lot of trouble. I didn't see it first time of asking. Declan Rice running away down the left-hand side. Clips him. Made a meal of that, Steve Bruce?
I think you know what my decision is there, don't you? I mean, and he takes a hand to the face, but the way he's rolled over and fell over, it's beyond me if that's a foul, to be brutally honest.
I don't. Has the referee given that? Burnley are going to make another change here, which is going to see Armando Broja come on, and Ian Fleming replace Ian Fleming on a booking. Armando Broja, whose 4th appearance for Burnley, is another one from the bench. All 4 have come from the bench. It's only total 45 minutes of football so far for the Clarets. And also coming on, Hannibal Medjbri for Josh Laurent. Medjbri, who assisted that winner against Wolves last weekend. It'll be hoped maybe those two can combine and give Burnley something to hang on to in the end of this game.
Well, certainly the 2 substitutions they made previous to this one has certainly put them in the game, that's for sure. They've been better once they made the subs. Now all of a sudden in the last 20 minutes they might throw caution to the wind and maybe a change of system, we'll see. But certainly gives them that, Broja gives them a physical output at the top end of the pitch.
Arsenal made a change as well. Martin Zubimendi has been replaced by Christian Norgard for only his 2nd Arsenal Premier League appearance since that 10 million move from Brentford in the summer. Burnley free kick that was given actually for that foul on Chowner. He's sent towards the penalty area, dealt with before it enters the box by Arsenal. Burton Albion now have 4 against St Albans City. The last time St Albans City have played a team in the FA Cup first round from the Football League, they have a miserable record. They've conceded at least 5 goals in their last 6 ties where that's happened. On course to do the same as well. Rice just able to manoeuvre away here, create a bit of space. Control is taken, but then fumbled by Nwaneri, and he goes down. But having stretched the ball, has taken out a Burnley player in the process. That's a free kick to Burnley. Arsenal fans aren't happy away to our right-hand side. It was brilliant from Rice and a little bit scrappy from Ethan Nwaneri.
Yeah, brilliant from Rice, and he's just overrun it. One of them awful ones if you're a defender where you know you're going to get a kick. And of course now with these orange boots on or whatever you want to, and wrapped in plastic on it, it's a difficult one because there's no real protection on it, and the big lads obviously saw with it, you know, it's with that challenge which he had to make, and he knew what was coming because the boy had just overrun the ball a bit.
Maxime Esteve is rolling around in some pain down on the edge of his own penalty area. away to our right-hand side. We're getting replays in front of us of the two Arsenal goals. Firstly, the Gyökeres header from close range after 13 minutes. And then the work of Leandro Trossard on the left-hand side, perfectly teed up cross. Arriving was Declan Rice, and the header's in. BBC One for Match of the Day tonight at 10:30. And you'll get a chance to see those goals back and all the Premier League action from the weekend. Bristol Rovers look set for the second round. They've got their second goal of the afternoon away at Bromley. Barnsley now 2-1 up on York City, who had the lead initially in that League One versus National League tie. What else is going in? Wycombe Wanderers 2-0 up on Plymouth as well. We've got 12 minutes left here at Turf Moor. I don't want to say this game isn't done yet, weirdly, but at the same time, Burnley need to do more, Steve Bruce.
Yeah, they need to do more, but they're asking the question of Arsenal. They've been much better in the second half with their approach. You have to say well done to the manager. He's made, obviously the substitutions have helped. They've gone higher up the pitch. They've made it a bit more uncomfortable for Arsenal. It's complete control in the first half. Burnley asking the question at the moment.
Yeah, Chandler tried the reverse pass there to Florentino on the right corner of the penalty area. Didn't work out, but Burnley haven't lost territory. Walker into Medjbury. Hannibal Medjbury just has a little turn and a shuffle before running into more white shirts of Arsenal traffic. Here is Trossard. Walker steps in though. This time Walker wins the advantage, then just leaves the ball on the touchline, goes and gives Trossard a little push. It hasn't worked out for either. Arsenal clear the ball. Listen to the belief around Turf Moor with 11 minutes to go. Burnley trail by 2-0.
Yeah, their approach has been terrific in the second half, and they're asking a question of Arsenal. Can they create a chance? Can they make it a final 10 minutes where they give themselves a little bit more belief?
What's important for Burnley is when they do get that chance, now they have to take it. If second half's counted only in the Premier League, Burnley would be 10th, so they do get stronger in the latter 45 minutes, but they have only picked up 1 point so far when their opponents have scored first this season. They need to find 2 goals against Premier League leaders Arsenal. Not quite runaway territory yet for Arsenal, but they're building a healthy advantage ahead of Bournemouth against Manchester United. Bournemouth at Manchester City tomorrow again, which you can hear on 5 Live's Premier League Sunday. That's at 4:30. Before that, West Ham Newcastle starts tomorrow's action off on 5 Live Sport. Arsenal in action 5:45 in the Champions League on Tuesday night. They're away at Slavia Prague. And you can hear that game on 5 Live Sport from 8 o'clock that night. Liverpool against Real Madrid. That's a tasty Champions League affair. Tuesday night. Wednesday's action, Karabakh Chelsea 5:45 live on 5 Live Sport, followed by Manchester City at home to Dortmund. Erling Haaland takes on his former club in that one. Bristol City have one back. They are 5-1 down though away at Stoke City. I mentioned St Alban conceding at least 5 in their last 6 FA Cup ties against Football League opponents. They have now conceded 5 against Burton Albion. And in the Premier League, 2 goals to tell you about. Fulham 3, Wolves 0. So that's done for Marco Silva's men. They'll need that win as well. They were out of form, Fulham. Amad Diallo's got Manchester United level. Nottingham Forest 2, Manchester United 2. That is your commentary game on 5 Live Sport right now with Ian Dennis and Leon Osman at the City Ground. We'll bring you as much reaction as we can on 5 Live between 5 and 5:30 in Sports Report with Steve Crossman. Try and bring you a little bit of reaction live if we can from here as well. Nwaneri going forward, takes on the shot that just bounced along the turf and goes wide of the left-hand post. Arsenal fans thought they might have a third from Ethan Nwaneri there. From the edge of the D, low down to the bottom left-hand post, but it went wide. And Burnley are going to make their 5th and final change of the afternoon as Josh Cullen goes off, the only other Burnley player on a yellow card, so a little bit precautionary maybe in these final few minutes from Scott Parker. And Marcus Edwards comes onto the pitch, but he might have been very nearly coming on, Steve Bruce, 3-0 down.
Yeah, it was a wonderful piece of skill by Nwaneri to start with. He's won a challenge in the halfway line and he's drove forward, and from where we're sitting I thought it was 3-0, I have to be honest.
Looking like it was nestling in that bottom left-hand corner in front of the Arsenal fans, who are going nowhere for now with their side 2-0 up. 7.5 minutes of normal time remain. Arsenal have a throw right in front of the Burnley manager Scott Parker. He's got his thin club overcoat on, a slightly padded jacket.
He'll be really pleased with the second half performance in particular. I know they haven't maybe created the really clear-cut openings which are going to really hurt Arsenal, but certainly their approach in the second half will give him something to think about going later on in the season when he comes up against these big teams who they're going to play against. He'll certainly be impressed with what they've done in the second half.
Drop of the shoulder for Mourinho. He's right by the corner flag on Arsenal's left on that far side. Esteve can volley it away as he does squeeze in the cross from that far side. Bromley have made it nervy for Bristol Rovers. Bromley 1, Bristol Rovers 2. Harrogate Town level 2-2 now at Mansfield in the FA Cup first round. Dramatic day of FA Cup action, and it will remain so all weekend. 3 FA Cup commentaries for you tomorrow on Sports Extra 2. If you get the BBC Sounds app, download it, and you can listen to a choice of listening on 5 Live Sport. Coming up on 5 Sports Extra, Scotland against USA in the Autumn Internationals. Throw in for Arsenal on that far side, the left, level with the Burnley penalty area. It is hung up into the air. A couple of heads go up. I think Dubravka might have prevented that from going out. No, he hasn't. And it will be a corner to Arsenal. There was 3 Burnley heads who all went for it. Dropped the wrong side of the byline, only just. Bit like the first half.
And then a long throw in from Arsenal. This is the big debate now, you know. Obviously they've got somebody who can take a long throw, and of course when you've got these 2 centre-backs like they have, who are very, very good at what they do, they've just caused a bit of chaos there, won themselves a corner, and we know how good they are at these situations. Here we go again, 4 or 5 of them standing at the far post.
This one was definitely over the line. I've seen the replay. Not as controversial as the one in the first half, which Gyökeres scored from to put Arsenal 1-0 up. Mansfield back in front 3-2 against Harrogate Town. Harrogate's leveller didn't last long. So Arsenal corner, far side the left, in swinging delivery goes in. Dubravka punches that away with a good solid fist. A right hook around the ball, and it's cleared the penalty area. Come out to Saliba. Saliba to Saka. Saka to Trossard on the right hand side, and Trossard rolls it all the way back down into Arsenal's territory, not really near David Raya, who has to backtrack to get his foot round the ball, which he does. Sent long, Brun Larsen's header, flicked on. Here's Hannibal, takes the touch under pressure from Christian Norgard, and that will be a free kick to Burnley midway inside their own half. 5 minutes to go.
This is what the Arsenal can do as well, you know. They can go from back to front when we want and cause you that ask you that physicality they've got at the top end of the pitch now.
Brun Larsen just standing up against Timber. Has fed it into the penalty area, but Declan Rice was back there. Here's Hannibal manoeuvring well on the left hand corner of the penalty area. Now Brun Larsen, overlap comes. This is a chance for Burnley. Right over David Raya, who flapped at it, but it's run right across the penalty area. The cross came in from Marcus Edwards. Burnley have picked up the ball by the touchline on the far side, swung in early from the right hand side. Brun Larsen was arriving. It's a header up, not away from Arsenal as it bounces in the penalty area. A little bit scrappy. Edwards able to turn on the left hand side, drills it in low. Timber with the block, comes out in between box and touchline, near side Burnley's left foot. Hartman and Hannibal combined. Now Esteve. Burnley trailing by 2-0. Can they get one back here? Edwards just holds it up 5 yards from the byline, plays it to Hannibal on the turn on the corner of the penalty area, tries to roll it on through for Brun Larsen, but it's just behind him, and Arsenal are able to get the clearance. 4 minutes to go, Arsenal leading 2-0.
They've been very, very spirited, Burnley, haven't they, in the second half approach. They've asked the question of Arsenal. Arsenal, of course, are master at defending what they've got, and they are defending deep and saying, come on then, what have you got? But they've been very, very good second half.
Scott Parker wanted the crowd to do their bit, wanted them to become hostile. They are trying to make that happen in the final few moments of this game, but he did praise Arsenal's ability. So they're unbelievably well coached. Did say they aren't reliant on set plays. Well, they've got one from a set play this afternoon. They've scored one from open play as well, both in the first half. Burnley drawing the second half as it's crossed in by Hannibal early on. Caught by David Raya before it could reach Armando Broja. 3 minutes to go now of normal time. A couple of the Burnley fans feel maybe that route back isn't possible as the night sky draws in. Last of the sunshine has gone now, and the floodlights take increasing effect here at Turf Moor this afternoon, this Saturday afternoon kickoff. Burnley will take on West Ham away next. That could be a big game for Scott Parker's side. Then they host Chelsea in a couple of weeks in a lunchtime kickoff here. Who knows what you get from Chelsea these days. A little bit of shielding needs to be done from Florentino, and he does. Goal kick for Arsenal. Slavia Prague, as we mentioned, in the Champions League next Tuesday, and then on Sunderland away before Spurs at home in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think Scott Parker will be absolutely delighted with what he's seen in the second half. His team have been really, really spirited. They've showed a big aggression, changed a little bit tactically in terms of when they've got after Arsenal, and they've asked the question of Arsenal being far more competitive.
Here come the Gunners though. Marino trying to slide it on through, but Trossard between Walker and Twanzebe. They tidied that up between themselves into the final 2 minutes of the game. MK Dons 3-2 up on Colchester in the FA Cup first round. York City have levelled against Barnsley. It's 2-2 there. Birmingham 4-0 up on Portsmouth in the Championship. Northampton have one back, but they're 3-1 down against Oldham in the FA Cup. Here come Burnley down the left-hand side. Brun Larsen's cross. He's blocked by Norgard, so it will be a Burnley corner though. And Fleetwood Town have a second against Barnet. They lead 2-0. Western-super-Mare have levelled in the FA Cup first round, 1-1 against Aldershot Town. You're up to date. 5 Sports Extra 2 from Turf Moor, where Burnley have a corner near side the left. Brun Larsen is over it, raises 2 hands in the air. The gloves are on for Brun Larsen, the Dane. This afternoon he came on as a second half substitute. That is a busy 6-yard box which the referee has to keep an eye on. There's lots of movement, lots of pushing and shoving. Brun Larsen into the near post. It was quite a poor corner. It was headed away by Declan Rice, who raced to get there. Now he's racing over to get back to Brun Larsen. Burnley through Chowner aren't able to cross it in. Maybe they'll go again. They flick it over towards this near side, high in the air. It's a chest control, then ahead from Chowner that keeps it in play. Here's Hartman into the final 30 seconds of the 90. Floated ball cut out by Declan Rice on his chest as Hartman steps in. Ball comes off Rice last. That's a Burnley throw-in.
Yeah, they haven't got it out at the moment, Arsenal, and they've really missed Gyökeres as that focal point at the top end of the pitch. How often have we said that about how important centre forward is? And certainly in the second half they've missed him. But Burnley have been very spirited. They've asked a question of Arsenal. They've asked the question is how good they are defensively, and we know how that is. But they've made a real fist of it in the second half. And as I said, Scotty will be delighted with what he's seen in the second half.
4 minutes of added time. Burnley 0, Arsenal 2. Stockport County have put their place in the second round of the FA Cup. They're 3-1 up on Tranmere in added time. Now Nathan Lowe with the latest goal as Miles Lewis-Skelly is going to replace Leandro Trossard for these final few moments. A good shift by Trossard this afternoon. He certainly will know he's been in a contest with Kyle Walker.
What a contest that was, wasn't it? I mean, yeah, they've been at it all day. And it just shows the strength and depth now when they can bring the quality of who they've brought on the pitch in the second half, Arsenal, where I think that's the big asset of what they've got. They've put a squad together, really big squad, and really good players in that system.
Nearly the first minute of the 4 that were added on has gone. David Raya, the only man in the Arsenal half, sends that free kick high in the air towards his right hand side. The first header won by Hartman, but the second ball is controlled well by Ethan Nwaneri, and then Saliba is able to go back to David Raya again, who again, like the free kick, pings it long out to his right hand side, bounces well past Marino though, and that will be a Burnley throw in. Carlisle have one back late on against Reading in the FA Cup first round, but Reading still leading by 2-1. Full roundup in Sports Report with Steve Crossman over on 5 Live Sport. If you're listening on BBC Sounds this afternoon, then if you flick the dial at 5 o'clock over to 5 Live Sport, you'll be able to get all the latest. As the shot comes in from Norgard, edge of the penalty area, space opened up for him. Good save by Dubravka down to his right hand side, and the ball bounces off the corner flag actually and stays in play. Kyle Walker now needs an outlet to help get it away, but Christian Norgard very nearly got his first Arsenal goal.
Yeah, good save from Dubravka. Break out of nowhere really, but it's been Arsenal's biggest opportunity in the second half.
Crewe has conceded late against Doncaster Rovers, so Doncaster now lead 2-1 in the FA Cup first round. Blackpool are through. They have won this afternoon, as have Bolton, in an all-League One tie with Huddersfield Town. It's the Arsenal fans who now start to rotate their scarves above their heads, singing one of their many hymns.
I have to say, defensively, they take a big pride, Arsenal, in not conceding. They don't want to give it up. None of them really do. And they've huffed and puffed Burnley in the second half, not really created much at all, because this defence that they've got, and defensively as a team, are really, 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 really good to watch it.
It will be a 7th successive game for Arsenal without conceding a goal. It'll be a 6 for David Raya. Kepa Arrizabalaga kept one against Brighton in midweek. It is just an impenetrable Arsenal defence at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, they're very, very good goalkeeper. Very impressive, the 2 full-backs, 2 centre-backs. We'll keep waxing lyrical about them. When you see them live and what they give you, physicality, handle the ball well, and of course that big thing where they want to defend their box, and both boxes, they're excellent.
Crystal Palace have beaten Brentford. Full reports to come on Sport Report from 5 o'clock over on 5 Live Sport. They good, another solid home win for Crystal Palace. Burton Albion have 6 now against St Albans, also through to the FA Cup then. Burton Albion will join Barrow, who've beaten Spennymoor. Birmingham City have won in the Championship 4-0 over Portsmouth. Stoke City have hammered Bristol City 5-1. Seconds remain. Arsenal have a corner over on the far left-hand side. Half of the stand away to our right-hand side. It's Burnley fans. That is now predominantly just seats visible there. The Arsenal fans going nowhere. Rice's corner in towards the back post. It is a Burnley clearance away on the ball, and in fact they might be able to race up the other end if there is time. Brun Larsen across the halfway line. Arsenal flood back. They've got 6, 7, 8 players racing back to do their bit for the team to protect that clean sheet, which they do. It's a header away from an early cross. Comes to Hannibal. Hannibal tries to get it on the edge of the D and poke it on through. The late challenge from Gabriel comes in. Burnley have a free kick. Gabriel has a yellow card.
I think it was handball actually. I think he's given for handball, but it just shows you the attitude of the Arsenal team when 8 or 9 of them are back, chasing that back. When they're 2-0 up, they've had a corner at the far end. Burnley have broke away. By the time they get into around Arsenal's 18-yard box, I think I counted 9 Arsenal players back behind the ball. Tremendous to watch.
What were the other 2 doing? That's what Mikel Arteta will want to find out.
We'll have a little look at that afterwards.
Nottingham Forest and Manchester United have drawn 2-2. Preston are moving into the playoffs of the Championship. They've beaten Southampton 2-0 at St Mary's. Stockport through to the second round of the FA Cup. Wigan and Hemel Hempstead has finished 1-1 after 90 minutes. Gateshead have caused an upset, beating AFC Wimbledon down in South London. Watford have beaten Middlesbrough 3-0 in the Championship. Peterborough through to the second round as they beat Cardiff City 1-0. Salford City have levelled late on. Kelly and Mai 1-1 with Lincoln City. Alex Bruce, Steve Son is part of the coaching staff there. Doncaster through to the second round. Brighton have won 3-0 against Leeds United, and in running through all those full times and latest scores, we still haven't had that free kick for Burnley. Burnley 0, Arsenal 2. 5.5 minutes in of the 4 minutes that were shown of added time. Can Burnley breach this Arsenal defence, claim a bit of personal pride at the end of this game? Marcus Edwards is over it. I think so is Jakob Brun Larsen. It is a long wall to get past. It's within good shooting range though, Steve.
It's in an ideal situation. Can they get it up and over the wall? The wall is massive, of course, but can he have the ability to get it up and down so quick and beat Ray, and can he get it over the wall?
5 Arsenal players, a draft excluder in the form of Ethan Nwaneri. This free kick, right of centre, 25 yards from goal. Will it be the left foot of Marcus Edwards or the right of Brun Larsen? It will be Edwards, it's off the post! Arsenal's defence still cannot be breached. Still their clean sheet record stays intact. The full-time whistle goes. At the very end, Burnley nearly had something to cheer. Marcus Edwards, the woodwork away from giving Burnley what would have proven to be a consolation goal. Arsenal's damage done in the first half. Victor Gyökeres and Declan Rice with 2 headers, one from a set piece and one from an open play cross. Arsenal go 7 points clear at the top of the Premier League. A 7th game without conceding a goal, and they have beaten Burnley by 2-0.
You have to say they thoroughly deserved it, but I think Scott Parker in the second half in particular will go away thinking we've done as well as what we can do against them, against this very, very well organised, well drilled, and of course they've got some really, really top players, Arsenal. So Burnley were very, very spirited. You can understand why they've got 10 points so far. They could have quite easily have folded in the first half. They didn't. They come out in the second half, showed that little bit of spirit what they've got. Asked Arsenal a question. Of course, Arsenal had to then defend, which they have done very, very comfortably, it has to be said. Nearly got a consolation at the end, but you'd have to say Arsenal have been very, very easy winners.
And you were impressed throughout the afternoon, Steve, of Arsenal's organisation, which has simply won them the game.
Well, I have to say a big well done to Mikel Arteta and what he's done over the years. They've got a really, really wonderful organisation about them. They're a threat at set pieces. They're excellent in both boxes, and they've got a little bit of everything that you would expect to win a league. I mean, it's so early with 9-10 games to only played, but you know, they've been very, very consistent, Arsenal, now for years. You know, they've finished second, is it 3 times in the last 4 years? And you can understand why, because of what they've got. They've got a real good squad of players in depth. They've got quality on the bench. You know, they're very, very well organised and well drilled. And you have to say a big well done to the manager for getting them where they've got to over the last 4 or 5 years.
Steve, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for your words this afternoon. Steve Bruce, former Premier League manager, with us on 5 Sports Extra 2. Well, Arsenal go 7 points clear. They have beaten Burnley by 2 goals to 0.